The name of the group, and the song, of course, Hebron. Monday morning, it's JM in the AM. Thanks for joining us, folks. We are in Hebron. We are across from Arat Machpelah. Check out our Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal. You'll see the latest photos. I told you that Ari Lieberman, the executive director of the Hebron Fund, would join me to speak about the banner month that is coming up here in the holy city of Hebron. It'll be a banner month of Tishrei, and it's followed by a banner month of Cheshvan and Kislev. Every month is a banner month here in the holy city of Hebron. Now I'm specifically speaking about the Sukkot holiday, because there are a lot of our listeners who are going to be in Israel for Sukkot. They want to come to Hebron, they want to do it in as easy a way as possible, and they want to be here for the big celebration. So as the invitation says, Adam and Chava, Abraham and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka and Yaakov and Leah, invite you to join them at the second annual VIP Hebron Sukkot celebration. It's happening Monday, Chol HaMoed Sukkot, that's the 17th of October. It'll go from noon until 5, and they're encouraging everybody to get the reservations in right now. Hebronfund.org, Hebron fund.org for all the information. Now this will be the day, Ari, where it's not limited to VIPs, meaning this is the day that the entire community is open for everybody. Tourists, Israelis, the entire country to come and celebrate in Hebron.
Correct. We are expecting thousands and thousands of people to come, and we're inviting everybody from all over. If you're in Eretz Israel for Sukkot, to come here to Hebron on Chol HaMoed. It'll be a phenomenal program. Monday especially, we're going to have a great concert and all kinds of great activities going on here. We do have a special VIP event going on for those people who are a certain level of donors, and they're more than welcome to step up to the plate to get a $1,000 annual donation, join the VIP tour that we're going to have, which is going to be unbelievable. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit later with Yoni Blackbart, who's actually the coordinator here on the ground in Hebron for that event.
Plus there's a reception, right?
There'll be the reception. It's going to be something that you can't see any other time. It'll be very, very special.
When someone is here that Monday in Hebron, they have a chance to meet some pretty cool personalities, right? There's members of Knesset who come to visit, a lot of very big rabbis, as you would expect, and I mean a lot of people from around Israel who are noted personalities.
Correct. They'll be here, and the most important noted personalities that'll be here are the individuals that come themselves. Right. They're the ones, and again, you can't beat meeting Avram and Sarah, Yitzchak, and Leah and Rivka. You can't meet, I mean, those personalities are here. You can't beat it.
Describe this scene. What will it look like right behind us on Monday Chol HaMoed? It's going to be pretty packed with people right behind us.
Well, I imagine that you're not going to be seeing too much grass.
Right.
And you'll see a lot of people, and you'll see a lot of thousands and thousands of people in the area, and we'll have plenty of activities.
There'll even be a sukkah, right?
Around. There'll even be a sukkah, yes. A very, very large sukkah.
I can imagine. It has to accommodate a lot of people. How do you make a reservation? You call 718-677-6886, 718-677-6886, or head to the web, Hebronfund.org, Hebronfund.org, for the contribution that Ari mentioned. You can be part of the VIP Hebron Sukkot celebration, but don't forget, the celebration is open to everybody. I'm assuming there's transportation in addition to the main bus station, right? Because there is transportation, but in addition to that, there's others from hotels as well.
Well, we'll have 3 levels. We're going to have the general transportation that will be coming. We'll have about 100 buses dedicated. They'll be basically coming from Yerushalayim to Hebron approximately every 10 minutes throughout the day.
Right.
And then we will have we'll have our tour. People can sign up for our regular Simcha Hafam tour. Go to tour at Hebronfund.org. You can sign up for that. And then we'll also have the VIP tour that'll be for the people who are registered for that. So there'll be 3 different levels, but there'll be no shortage of ways for people to get here.
Oh, that's for sure. All right, so check that out by heading to the web and getting all the information. In addition to that, the Hebron Fund has announced that their annual dinner is going to be happening on the 3rd of December. We're going to talk about that. That's a Saturday night in New York. We will be talking about that. Kol HaKavod LaTzahal, many members of the Israeli Defense Forces. Am I right? That's the IDF, right? The IDF have pulled up. You never know in this city who's who, right? Or at least I don't. But they're members of the IDF. You know what I was worried about? I was worried about saying they're members of the IDF, but David Wilder telling me that they're UN, what do they call them? Observers, right?
TIF.
So the Kol HaKavod Latzahal. In addition to that, on the 19th of November, Shabbat Chayei Sarah, we'll talk about that as well. Your tours to Hebron, and to get the brand new Hebron calendar, just send info@hebronfund.org, info@hebronfund.org, and you could get all the information. Let's head back to another selection, and then Ari Lieberman will discuss Shabbat Chayei Sarah with us. We are, you have no idea how well the calendar works out for many people in the United States this year. If you want to come to Chayei Sarah, we'll explain that and more coming up at JM in the AM. 91.1 FM, 90.1 FM in the Catskills, on the web, jmtheam.org. 19 minutes before 7 o'clock. We'll continue in a few minutes with Ari Lieberman. I mentioned to you that we're going to tell you how amazing the calendar is for so many folks in the United States when it comes to Chayei Sarah, and we'll do that coming up here at JM in the AM. Noam Arnon, who has been on our radio program, I don't know how many times before, but many, many times before, a regular guest of ours. He's a spokesman for the Jewish community of Hebron, lives in Beit Hadassah, correct?
Yeah.
And has been now in Hebron for how many years?
Oh, I can't count anymore. It's so much. It's about 38 years.
Wow.
It's almost 40 years now.
Noam,
I came as a young student to the Hesder Yeshiva in Kiryat Arba. Well, Hebron, the Jewish community of Hebron was not existing then.
Correct.
So I was involved in all the process of building and maintaining the Jewish community here. Now, Baruch Hashem, we have third generation.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just when I met you, I think I met you in the mid-90s, so already we're about 16, 17 years after that. The time marches on. Anyway, welcome to the show. Baruch haba. Thank you for hosting us again.
Thank you.
So what's the next step? You've seen the community grow to this amazing point. We have a Jewish community of Hebron now that is obviously limited in size, we know, and we would love to have the freedom to expand it as much as possible. I know all of that, but the life here is amazing. The joggers through the streets are testimony to the fact that there's daily freedom and the ability to move around like any other regular community around the world. Thank God, Baruch Hashem. With all the wonderful things that are going on here, what is the next step? What is it that Noam Arnon would love to see happen in Hebron?
As you said, we would love to see more houses, more Jewish families, more neighborhoods, etc., etc. That's very, very important. At the same time, I think we think about the Navi Yechezkel, what he said about the dry bones. First of all, he collected them to one place, and then they built a body. But then he said the spirit must penetrate into the body.
Right.
So here in Hebron, we work for the spirit. We work for the Ruach Yehudi. Now in Hebron, there is a special spirit, a special Ruach Yehudi. As I said in Kalev, Ekev Hayta Ruach Acheret Imo. He had a special spirit of strength, of Kedusha. This is the Ruach, this is the spirit we would like to spread from Hebron to all the Jews, to all the people of Israel, in Israel and abroad. To bring to Leitchaber. Hebron means Leitchaber, to be connected. So what I do mainly is meeting different kinds of groups of Israelis, of Jews. Most of them not Dati. Many of them are Chayalim. Many of them are Chayalim in special units, and Ktzinim and officers. And we walk around and we talk about it. I show them the city. I speak about the history of the Marat HaMachpelah, of the Abraham Avinu symbol, of Beit Hadassah, of the ancient Tel archaeological excavations, of the old Jewish cemetery, of Yishai and Ruth, and all the other Kadoshim in Hebron. And from here, I can tell you, it's a fact. They get the Ruach Acheret. They get the special spirit. And when they leave Hebron, they are different people from those who came to Hebron.
So this group of soldiers I just saw go up to the Mara, were they there for the security check, or were they there because they're taking a tour now?
The tour.
They're on the tour now?
Yes. Many of the groups of the soldiers that you see here, besides the Mishmar Gvul, this border police, which are, but all the other soldiers here, they come to visit, and we organized a special movement in the army, in the Israeli, in the Tzahal, to organize more and more groups that will come to visit here. And it's not only Chayalim, it's also pupils of the high schools. We brought the Minister of Education, Mr. Gideon Sa'ar, and he announced here about a special program to bring many, many groups and schools, high schools, secular high schools, from all over the country, to bring them to Hebron. You know, many leftist organizations, they attacked Mr. Sa'ar for announcing this program, but the schools, the pupils, the teachers, the principals in the school, they allowed the program.
They want it.
Yes, and we have a list of more than 50 schools in the next few months that are going to visit in Hebron.
Unbelievable. Noam Arnon is here, very familiar name to our audience, spokesman for the Jewish community. So it really is a project connection. It's really, that's what it is.
The project Chibur LeHebron.
Ah, that's what you call it.
That's it, Chibur LeHebron, connection to Hebron. Well, in Hebrew it sounds better.
Yeah, much better.
Maybe in Yiddish it sounds better, but in Hebrew it's Chibur LeHebron. Let's be חברים, let's להתחבר. בואו נתחבר and בואו נחבר לחברון. בואו, let's connect and let's enable this movement to go on by helping and supporting this movement of Chibur LeHebron.
The army experience is different once they visit here. The whole army experience, not just their
I tell
life
you,
in Israel.
if you see here many groups of army, many of them are led by young chayalot. Many of those chayalot were trained by me. So even when I'm not there myself, my attitude and my explanations and my history that I wrote, that I spoke about, is being given to many groups of soldiers.
I'm looking at the brochure that announces this project connection, and sure enough, there's the connection of the past, present, and the future. There's connection of heaven and earth, as we know. There's a connection of a nation, meaning the Jewish people and its land, which of course this is no better place than here to explore those roots. And there's also another connection, by the way. There's a connection of Noam Arnon to things that happened thousands of years ago that only he knows about.
You know, Hebron.
You know
I
what
want to
I'm
tell you
talking
something. Hebron is like a time machine.
Well, for
You
you
come
it certainly
here and
is.
you fly to the past to see Avraham Avinu, to see David HaMelech, and then you fly to the future to see the Mashiach.
Right. But you know what I'm referring to? I'm referring to the fact that you've been in areas of Hebron that nobody else has been in.
Yes.
I know you wouldn't discuss it on the air, but I'm letting people know that you know, people who wonder and question about the history of the Jewish people to this area.
Come here.
You better than anybody know
so
about the history.
Those who have questions, please come here and talk to me. I'll try to answer.
Right.
But they want to see you here.
Understood. This is the best place to find out about it, that's for sure. Noam, Kol HaKavod. Project Connection is part of the a Jewish community of Hebron, and they are funded in assistance with the Hebron Fund, correct?
Correct, and the trifold that you're holding
Yeah.
is a project that we've launched to help underwrite the wonderful work that Noam's doing with the soldiers and the pre-soldiers. And if anybody wants more information on how they can help Project Hebron in sponsoring busloads of people, they can send us again their contact information at info@hebronfund.org. And if they have not received the trifold, we'll be happy to send one out to them or give them whatever information to let them know how they can help with this very, very meaningful work. This is really the essence.
Yeah,
this is what's
it.
needed.
This is it. Noam, what's this group behind us? Is this a security group or is this a student group?
This special group is security.
This is
This
security.
is the border police. But for them, you know, we have a special program that they will know where they serve, and we teach them the history of the Machpelah. So when every new group of soldiers, border police is coming to Hebron, they invite me or somebody else from our community to teach and to speak and to show them the history of Machpelah, so they may know where they serve and may appreciate the fact that they take care for such a holy
So
place.
they're not just watching a building. They know that they're guarding something much more precious than that. A group like this would turn over how often? I mean, how often are you welcoming new?
They serve every 6 months here. And
so it is a good stretch of time. I mean, they're here for half a year.
Yes.
How are you on Samson?
I wanted to tell you, the last time I was here, I had a chance to talk to one of the border police inside the Maharan. He was telling me that he puts in a practically 8-hour day standing in one location, and he said, if it wasn't for my understanding of where I'm standing and what it means, I couldn't do what I'm doing. He said, it's because I understand where I am, I couldn't do this anywhere else, but because I'm here in the Maharan, and I know how meaningful it is. I can stand here in 8 hours a day, just standing here and watching, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. That's an important message, and that's what Noam does. Noam instills into these soldiers the importance of why they're here and what they're protecting.
No question about it. Has your family remained in Hebron, or people have moved to other places?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have place to absorb new family. So my children are spread around in Kiryat Arba, in Chavat Mahon, in Elon Moreh, all around. But we don't cross the green line. I mean, we don't go...
You don't go the other way.
Yes. We never cross the green line. We're only on the east side of the green line.
You know what you reminded me of? One of the most amazing encounters that I ever had in this city was when I was here one day. I think it was after the Hebron massacre in 2002. And the Rabbi Avi Weiss was here.
Yes.
And Rav Levinger was with Rabbi Weiss sitting in the Miznon. And the two of them are talking, and Rabbi Weiss says, I have a shita, I have a policy. I will never be arrested in Israel. And Rabbi Levinger says, I have a policy. I'll never be arrested outside of Israel. That's what you reminded me of. Some people have one way of going over the green line, and your family is just, you're not going the other way.
Well, all of us have been arrested many times in the past. Today, I try to act not to be arrested, but I think that the influence is much more deeper. Let's say there is a very wide field to act without being arrested.
Right. It's much wider than it used to be.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Noam Kol HaKavod, thank you so much. Great seeing you. Continue your amazing work on behalf of the Jewish people and the Jewish future.
Thank you very much. Hebron, me'az u'letamid.
Amen to that. More coming up. We will explain about a Shabbat Chayei Sarah and why so many of you out there should be considering coming on Chayei Sarah to Hebron. We will explain all that coming up. Ari Lieberman will join me, and more special guests coming up here at JM in the AM. JM in the AM at 3 minutes before 7 o'clock. We're live in Hebron, tomorrow in Yerushalayim, the Israel Land Fund, Wednesday with Rebeni Fisher and Magen Lecholet. First of a 3-day trip to Israel as we broadcast and bridge the gap between the Holy Land and the diaspora. Check out our Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal. David Wilder in a second. I just want to get Ari Lieberman on just to talk about for a moment I know, but we kept teasing the audience. I want to get to this already. I'm sorry. Ari, I don't know if you looked at the calendar, but knowing you probably have. And believe it or not, Shabbat Chayei Sarah this year will come out the Shabbos before Thanksgiving. Now, for a lot of folks in the United States, Thanksgiving week and weekend are vacation weeks and weekends. And if people would want to come to Israel, for instance, on the Thursday or Wednesday before that, they'd be able to spend 10 days in Israel, have their entire vacation here, and participate in Shabbat Chayei Sarah here in Hebron. So I don't want this day to go by without people realizing that it's even easier than ever, schedule-wise, to come here for Chayei Sarah.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to having the best crowd ever to come.
And biggest, hopefully.
Well, definitely. We also want the best. Biggest and best to come here, and they'll be here again this year. There's so much to do, so much to see, and like you said, the calendar works perfectly. It gives you the opportunity to really come here to spend an entire week, including 2 Shabbatot,
right?
Because you get them on both ends, and so you can spend one in Hebron and then one elsewhere.
Firing squad, firing squad.
Left, please. I'm sorry to interrupt, Ari, but I'm sure us Americans will be intrigued by what's happening behind us.
Firing squad.
So, the...
No, that's just in case you say something wrong.
I guess. This is only when Yontif is so late that Thanksgiving and Chayei Sarah end up being in close proximity. Now, I can tell you, folks, we're worried about the weather. It's going to be a cool, crisp Friday night. It's going to be a beautiful Shabbos, trust me. Remember last year we had rain on Shabbos? Which I still can't get over it. It was an early Chayei Sarah yet. But that's not going to happen again. I can tell you that I've had this experience of being here in November for Chayei Sarah. It's absolutely beautiful. Make the plans. Remember what Ari Lieberman announced earlier. If you're planning on being in Israel that week, you have a chance to win and be chosen for a free two-person accommodation in Hebron Chayei Sarah, which is a very big value. Trust me, it's very big value. All you got to do is send an email, tour, T-O-U-R, at hebronfund.org. That's tour, T-O-U-R, at hebronfund.org. In addition, you could use that email address or the info email address to get your calendar. The 5772 calendar is out. It's always a very popular one. It has great sponsors this year. In fact, I want to mention the cover sponsor, our good friend Morty Melman and our friends at CityCom. They have stepped forward to sponsor the cover of the calendar. You can get yours by sending an email with your snail mail address to info@hebronfund.org, info@hebronfund.org. Ari, anything else you want to add on these Chayei Sarah Hebron excursion?
There's much to discuss, but we will be able to do that throughout the rest of the show. And we've got our wonderful spokesman, David Wilder, here.
David Wilder next in America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listeners-sponsored WFMU East Orange, WMFU Mount Hope, around the world on the web, jmn.org. David Wilder, welcome back to JM and the AM.
Nachum, it's always a pleasure to sit opposite you. You know, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
You just spoke to Noam Arnon.
Right.
The most amazing thing about Noam is that he's been here for almost 40 years, and his beard is still black.
He's an amazing man, even for other reasons. 15 years ago last month, what happened, David Wilder? 15 years ago last month.
Wait a minute, now you're making me do arithmetic.
Why not?
What year was that?
Well, according to my arithmetic, it was 1996.
1996. That means that Bibi Netanyahu was elected prime minister.
Right. So what happened last month, 15 years ago? The answer is that David Wilder and I, on the air, on this very radio program, took a tour of Hebron, which went from the Ma'ara to different areas of Israel, different areas of Hebron. And I want to tell you something. If you listen to the show, it was not great fidelity. We were on 2 cell phones, and we were doing things in as primitive manner as possible. But people were so enthusiastic about that show, just to hear 2 people running through the city of Hebron with, again, the ability to do so, not being told by government enemies or anybody else that they're not allowed to, by visiting different places that had not been visited in a public forum in God knows how long, by paying tribute to those who were the pioneers of Hebron and telling their stories. That was an incredible August day back in 1996.
You know what I remember about that? There are 2 things I remember.
Yeah.
I remember standing by the 7th step, but more
Right
than
there,
that,
there's the 7th step right
more
there.
than that, I remember you telling me the stories of your father,
Right.
and the matbid.
Correct.
We went up to the Beit Almin cemetery, and we stood next to his grave. He was killed in the riots of 29. He said, my father learned with him.
Right.
I'll never forget
Well,
that.
it's funny because, well, 2 things. Number one, the 7th step, and if that tree was not there, I would take a photo right now and put it on Facebook, but that tree's blocking it. The 7th step was the closest that Jews got to the Ma'ara, and by the way, that's why a lot of people still daven at that corner, because tradition, it became a tradition, so to speak. So you'll see a lot of Jews and candles, at that corner, etc. So the 7th step was the place, and my father would tell me about being beat up by Arabs right there at that corner, and how they would try to go to the next step. You know how kids are, you try to go to the next step. My father was 12 years old when he was in Hebron. So that's one thing I remember. The other thing was, when it came to the matbid, the matbid was murdered on Friday afternoon.
He was the first one.
He was the first murdered. So my father always used to say, you know why they called him the matbid? He was the only guy in the base medrash Friday afternoon. Everybody else was busy praying for Shabbos. Of course that would be his nickname. And he said it, of course, in the most adoring way possible. But I remember him saying, what else would you call a man who's sitting in the Beit Midrash Friday afternoon when everybody else is out preparing for Shabbat? It's probably the only time when most Batei Midrashot are not fully occupied. Anyway, so that was from 15 years ago. Now we get to today, and your responsibility, one of the key responsibilities you have, is to present Hebron to international press, and I mean international. You are meeting people here in this holy city from countries that some of us haven't even heard of, and they always want to know what's happening here in Hebron. And they hear at least two sides of the story, and you know that they're hearing a lot of other sides, a lot of different sides, and now you have to come in and present what we believe is the emet, is the truth about what's happening here in this city and what has happened over the last few decades. I would guess it's a very tense role sometimes, no?
It's only tense when I see the results.
Depending on how they are. Huh?
Look, the key is what you just said. It's to tell the truth. I relate to what I do here. When people say, "What do you do?" I say communications, but the core of that, the kernel of that, is education. You want to educate people because these people have no idea. People don't know, and you want to try to explain to them that there were Jews in Hebron before 1967.
Right.
The Jews lived here, 1929, where our offices are. The Avram Avinu neighborhood was a Jewish community 500 years ago. The Tel Hebron neighborhood, called at Moti Shai today, probably known as Tel Rumeda. There are excavations there from the days of Avram Avinu and the days of David HaMelech, the tomb of Jesse and Ruth. So you're talking about a continuous Jewish community thousands of years. People come in and they say, well, this is a Palestinian city. And they say, but Jews have been here for 4,000 years. And to try to explain to them the fact that we want to live here peacefully, we want to live here normally, we have no intentions or desires to be in conflict with anybody. Of course, they don't believe us, okay? They usually take the remarks very sarcastically and cynically, but it's the truth. That's what we are doing here. We want to live here normally like anybody else. The difference between me and somebody in Brooklyn is that here, I can get up and daven Marat Machpelah in the morning. They can look at some pictures, but that really is our goal, and that's what we're doing here, and that's what we try to explain to people, whether it be journalists or visitors, whoever.
Now, David Wilder, I then ask you the following question: does Israel have friends out there or not? I would assume in your role you have met some who are sympathetic to the cause, so to speak.
Of course, there are friends. There are people. There are people. If you're talking about journalists per se, there are people that can be objective, and there are people that are also on your side. They're few and far between. Okay, you don't find a whole lot of them.
Right.
The media, as a rule, is very left wing. But when I speak to these people, unless I know before I speak to them that they're totally anti, that there's nothing good that can come out of it, I speak to just about anybody. And you hope that some of these people do have some, they're not just here, they don't have an agenda, they come here to really learn.
Has the Israeli media changed at all regarding Hebron in the last decade or two?
Yeah, for sure. Of course they've changed, because today they have to speak to us. When I started working here, and very soon after I started working in the same role, Noam came in also. If you were walking down the street, a journalist would come up and stick his microphone under your nose and saying, "What do you think about?" And that night you'd be on television. You'd do the story, the news. It doesn't make any difference, that you're a tourist here. You're representing Hebron. So today, when journalists want to know something, they have to speak to me, or to Noam, or to Yoni Bleichbart, or Dorit Turk, or any of the people that work with us here, to hear what our policies are, what we really believe in. And has that turned things around, upside down and backwards? No. But it does make a difference.
I want to note, by the way, that David Wilder and Chaim Newman and Ari Lieberman all have downloaded and installed the JM&AM app because, as they have said to me, hey, Israel has everything, but it doesn't have the music of JM and the AM. So even in the holy city of Hebron, they are listening to our free app. It's one of the best approbations we've ever got. We're right outside Marat HaMachpelah on a Monday morning. Could you imagine, folks? It's one of the most amazing and incredible scenes you've ever seen. Head to our Facebook update page. You'll see the pictures. Just amazing and incredible the way Marat HaMachpelah looks today, the way the holy city looks today. And this is what it's like always this time of year, with the blue skies and the beautiful climates, and just the most incredible city with peacefulness and people enjoying the day. I was earlier in the more residential area and saw people having a normal, regular day. We can't stress that enough.
We're now in the month of Elul, the last month of the Jewish year, coming into Rosh Hashanah in a couple of weeks. From the beginning of Elul through the end of Sukkot, we usually have here over 50,000 people.
Wow.
People come in here to pray, and in another week or so there'll be groups coming in at night doing evening tours. And they have slichot. We're going to be having a big slichot ceremony here during Eser Yemei Tshuva between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Thousands of people here and a lot of youth. And I want to invite anybody that hears this to come in. They should come in whenever they're in Israel. If they're here this time of the year for Sukkot, they should come in. It's very, very special. It's very beautiful. And it's very, very uplifting. And if you come in Hanukkah, whenever you're in Israel, you come in. And I can also say that if you want to get really good updates, besides all the websites, you can listen to Nachum because he pushes them out for us.
I appreciate that, and head to the web for David Wilder's stories. Also, the email list that people could join your email list and see what you write on a weekly basis even more often, right?
For sure. The Hebron community website is Hebron.com in English, Hebron.org.il in Hebrew, and people can write to me at Hebron@Hebron.com and ask questions or be on the list or whatever they'd like.
All right, thank you so much, David Wilder. Continue your amazing work on behalf of the holy city of Hebron. Jews around the world appreciate it very much.
Todah.
Todah to you. Thank you so much. David Wilder, everybody. He's in charge of the communications department in the Hebron office. We've just posted a picture on our Facebook update page of both David Wilder and Ari Lieberman, our special guests this segment. So you can check it out. Go to Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal on Facebook. I want to thank our friends at Talk and Save. We are connected back to the United States because of the amazing work that Talk and Save has done for us, both with phones and with, what do we call this, a net stick? And with a net stick to keep us connected to the web. So thank you, Talk and Save, talkletternsave.net, talkletternsave.net, or 866-TALK-N-SAVE. I again thank Menashe Sofer and his staff for getting us here to Hebron straight from the airport so we could broadcast directly after arriving here on a Monday morning at JM in the AM. A big thank you to Menashe Sofer and his staff. It's greatly appreciated. And I'm going to give a special shout out to Mayor Weingarten, a member of the JM in the AM staff who was extremely helpful in setting things up for us here in Israel, including the luxurious King Solomon Hotel, which is our base for the next couple of days. This time around to the King Solomon Hotel in Jerusalem. And I thank Mayor for all of his help. And I want to give a special shout out to Gabi, the general manager over at the King Solomon, for his gracious hospitality. We have Simcha Achbaum coming up. You know who he is. He's no stranger to this audience. He's director of tourism here in Hebron. Should be joining us in the next few minutes here at JM&M. In fact, Ari said he might actually have a group with him. Will he have other people with him or not?
I don't believe so.
He may not.
I don't believe he'll have one today.
Okay.
But Simcha,
we're going to forgive him.
Simcha himself is dynamic.
No, I don't.
But we do have a very special guest coming up.
And that is?
And it's going to be Dr. Aaron Abraham, who will be with us in just a few moments. And that's a wonderful story. He's going to tell us about his move from Mumbai to Hebron.
Mumbai to Hebron. A doctor who went from Mumbai to Hebron.
And not just any doctor. This is the doctor. And I don't want to ruin it, so I want everyone to stay tuned and listen to this story.
I mentioned Rabbi Simcha Achbaum, and look who's walking into our studio here at JM in the AM. Look at this. You told us years ago that one day we'll have a studio right next to Marat HaMachpelah. I remember that, Rabbi Simcha Achbaum. I remember you saying that one day we will broadcast the Jewish world's most important radio broadcast from right outside Marat HaMachpelah. Like the Nevi'im, your prophecy has come true. Look what's right behind you, Rabbi Achbaum.
So, Baruch Hashem Nachum, we have the privilege to be able to filming not from New York now, but from Emek Hebron, from the valley of Hebron, and to be able to hear the voice of Eretz Yisrael coming from the center of the ocean.
Unbelievable. This is something. How often have we spoken about actually, and we've been indoors in Hebron. We've done shows indoors in Hebron. But this is something extra special, to be right outside the Ma'ara with this incredible view, knowing that Avraham Avinu walked right here where we are. Rabbi Achbaum, Simcha, you can attest to the fact, based on your research and tradition, that Abraham, our forefather, very likely walked on the spot where we are sitting right now.
I don't think it's very likely. I can promise all of you that every step you walk in Hebron, and especially here in the field of the Machpelah Cave, Abraham and Sarah walked here before you, Isaac and Rebecca, Jacob and Leah. We walk in 3,800 years of Jewish history every single day.
It's pretty remarkable.
And every morning, I have the privilege to start my day, not just with some vitamins or jumping rope or good caffeine, but I come every day and I get the ultimate injection of emunah and bitachon, of strength and belief and faith, davening here and praying here at the Marat HaMachpelah.
Nothing better, huh? And you've been a resident of Hebron for now how many years?
16 years.
For 16 years. It's amazing how time just keeps marching on, how it keeps flying by. We've gone into this story, how it's very unusual for a boy from New York, so to speak, to move directly to Hebron. Let's just say for the purposes of this conversation that it was miraculous. It happened, Baruch Hashem. It was a dream of yours, and now your family is being raised in Hebron for 16 years, which is pretty remarkable. Every morning you're in the Ma'ara, and you're davening right next to where our forefathers are. And Rabbi Hachbaum, Reb Simcha, and by the way, I have regards from the Stein family. You know, the big Simcha's this Sunday.
Sunday night.
It's coming.
Mazel tov to Moshe. And I wish we could be there physically, but Kishem Shani Roke Kenegdach Ve'niyachal and Golbach. I'm going to have to dance opposite you without touching your hand.
By the way, he thinks you're still showing up. Anyway, I'm just kidding. He said I wouldn't be shocked if Simcha just popped in. You know how it is. So every morning hit the Marat HaMachpelah. And right next to our forefathers, and there are people, and I'm not looking to criticize members of our community, but there are people who find a lot of places to go to pray on this globe, a lot of different places. Some even might consider leaving Israel to go pray somewhere else. Again, I'm not one to, who am I at what level to question practices of very dedicated Jewish people? It just seems so unusual to me. Here they are. We're better to look for your prayers to be answered than by davening right next to the final resting place of our forefathers and foremothers.
Right before the high holidays, and near the whole theme of the prayers of Slichot service and Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is all about the merit of the forefathers and asking God to awaken that merit. And sometimes people, are so generous they want to give a donation to Hebron and they fill out a credit card form, and there's an expiration date. And it says it expires at this in the state. But yet we have a credit card that doesn't expire. The Brit Avot, She'ena Betel Al Olam, the covenant God made with the forefathers that's never abolished. So I can't see something more apropos than coming here for the high holidays. I always say if you have a life and death trial, and you, God forbid, facing the death sentence, you don't go to a public defendant, you go to the best lawyers. And these lawyers have been representing us for all these years, and we're doing such a good job at it. And thank God we're here after 2,000 years and returning back. And again, everyone has to go to their special doctor and to their specialty. Sometimes people need special type of spiritual healing. But at the same time, there's nothing greater than general practitioners of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, who were blessed by Kol Mikol Kol, both in spirituality and in materialism. All the bracha and shefa, all the blessings, and both material and spiritual wealth are coming from here.
Oh, couldn't have said it better. Fantastic presentation. Simcha Achbaum is here. We're talking, he's of course Director of Tourism here in Hebron. We're talking about visiting Hebron. We're talking about maintaining Hebron as an important part of the life of every Jew who's in the diaspora. Not just people here, of course, but every Jew who's in the diaspora has the opportunity to feel a special connection to Hebron. When you come here and you visit Israel, even if it's once every few years, but how I hope that it's more often than that, make sure to take advantage of Simcha's tours so you can be part of this unique experience. Tell me about the tours. They're leaving now on a practical basis.
So now we're getting a little bit off season. So we're leaving every Wednesday from the Sheraton Plaza, the Leonardo Plaza on King George Street. But throughout the summer, we ran tours almost every day. And I really want a big yasher koach. Sometimes we're a little disappointed with the support, but this summer, above all expectations.
Really?
We never had such a summer of youth coming and youth groups and CSY, TJJ, Eshat Torah, Or Sameach, and so many adults and families coming to celebrate their children's Hanachat Tefillin, Bar Mitzvot, Bat Mitzvot. And I really wanted to thank the greater Jewish community for being there and coming this summer and supporting us and coming with all their heart and with really so much love and so much emotional, financial support. So this summer was something above and beyond anything we expected. Hazarim b'dima b'rini iksar, King David says, those who plant with tears, they reap with joy. And this summer we felt a little bit the fruits of our labors, of so many people coming from so many different walks of life.
Wow, that's fantastic. You've reinvigorated me when it comes to the communities of the diaspora. I didn't realize that they're responding to Hebron in 2011 the way that they are, and I'm glad to hear there was such a banner.
Thank God, there was a good awakening.
Oh, Baruch Hashem. So, any interesting people? Have you? I mean, I know there's always interesting people in your groups, but there sometimes you meet folks from obscure areas you couldn't even believe, have Jewish communities, and they come to Hebron and they feel an even stronger connection to the Jewish people.
I tell you, without talking about myself, but the place has such an influence and such a power, and so many young people who never ever kept the Shabbat before, who never put on tefillin. They came on the tour during the week, and all of a sudden there was, the rabbi said, don't put pressure, davening is not official, and if they want, they could go up to pray, otherwise they could just take pictures. And so many kids said Shema Yisrael for the first time, proclaiming God's oneness. So many young men put on tefillin for the first time. And so many people felt that pang of Jewishness and that connection to the family root, to the national root of the Jewish people by being here in Hebron. And so many people take the time to write emails thanking for the experience that we enable them to have. And I just imagine, now those who bother to take the time to write, how many people are too busy to write. But yet this day has transformed so many people. Now, thank God, the last 15 years I'm a Rebbe in a yeshiva called Reshit in Beit Shemesh for post-high school students. And we just started the semester now. The boys came from America after Labor Day. At least 5 kids came over to me. I remember you from my bar mitzvah. You gave me a gift in front of the Aron Kodesh, the Holy Ark in Avraham Avinu Shul. I learned that letter of the Ramban all the time. I go through the 13 principles of faith, but I remember that experience in Hebron. That experience stayed with me. And it's not just a day trip, it's not just a tour, but it's really a lifetime experience to come here. And something happens within you when you come to Hebron.
We mentioned this with Ari earlier about young kids, and we both had opportunities in our families to have young kids who were able to experience Hebron at a young age, and it's a life-altering experience. It's something that stays with them forever. It's something that transforms them both as kids and adults. And I would hope, and I hope and pray that parents understand, and I know that there are a lot of considerations out there. It is not easy to put together the money to come to Israel. We know there's a lot of it, but it's such an important educational experience. And I hope that the principals and executive directors and the camp directors, everybody understands that this is also part of Jewish education, of making sure that the young people come here as often as possible.
Yeshiva students that have been learning all their life in the greatest yeshivot and day schools, when they come to Hebron, they come even trips to Yerushalayim, something happens. It's not just Tashma, come in here, but the Tanakh comes alive. It's Tachazi, come and see. And here it's the living Nach. Again, there's a beautiful translation called the living Nach, Rabbi Kaplan.
Right.
But here the Tanakh really comes alive. And so much what children learn that seems like some fairy tale. All of a sudden when you hear and you see what happens, all of a sudden those words come jumping out of the page, and you can see the Tanakh alive, the Torah alive. And I really appeal to all the educators not to think how it looks or competing with school A or school B, whether they're going or not going, to really do what's right for Am Yisrael, for Eretz Yisrael, for the soul of their students, to give them this exposure and this experience to come to Hebron with the Jewish community of Hebron.
100%. Simcha Achbaum reminds everybody, as I do, that and Ari Lieberman does, that Shabbat Chayei Sarah is coming up. It's in a couple of months, and people should make their reservations because space goes quickly. Reb Simcha, you can attest to this, that space goes very quickly here in Hebron on Shabbat Chayei Sarah.
Thank God, every year there's such a demand of young people who want to come, to be here. There are Jews who come special from America to be here, people who sometimes would stay in the Bal Hotel, the David Citadel, the Leonardo Plaza, King David, and all of a sudden they come to Hebron in not, let's say, the greatest physical conditions, but yet they'll all tell you it's the greatest Shabbat of their life, and how that Shabbat has really changed, again, the whole perspective, and Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, Torah Yisrael, and especially the young people in Yeshivot Seminary. It's not too early to start to sign up, to get your friends together.
And get your parents to come meet you here.
And God willing, if your parents have to come this year, we made it a little convenient, and the way the Jewish calendar falls out, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and you can combine the two together, to be able to really give thanks to Hashem. We read the Shabbat, you have to rejoice in all the good that God gave you, not just the good of the Bikurim, or the good of the Torah, but also the good of Eretz Yisrael. The land of Israel is called Eretz Tova, Eretz Chemda Tova, or Chava, Tova Eretz Mod Mod, to rejoice in Eretz Yisrael, to give the real thanksgiving, not for America, to give the thanksgiving for God giving us the special land, and be able to be here today, not just to watch Jewish history on the sidelines, but to help us make Jewish history and keep Hebron Jewish and keep the Marta Machpelah under Jewish control.
Oh, amen to that. I didn't think we get a Thanksgiving vort, but you worked that in very nicely. Ari Lieberman, how do you like that? It's not just that now. It's not just a calendaric thing. We actually have a spiritual Thanksgiving to talk about as well.
If I did it, it would come out very corny, but Simcha does it. It sounds great.
It sounds very rabbinic. Information, of course, you can contact the Hebron Fund at 718-677-6886, 718-677-6886, HebronFund.org. If you send an email, if you're planning on being in Israel for Chayei Sarah, and you send an email to TOUR, T-O-U-R, Hayesar at HebronFund.org. Tour, T-O-U-R, at HebronFund.org. You're eligible for 2 free accommodations here in Hebron for Hayesar, and believe you me, those are very valuable. Simcha, where are we right now? We are where a tent would be, Hayesar? Or where 2 tents would be, we're sitting?
We're here where there'll be a big, big tent, God willing, for so many young people who are coming to be able to eat next to the Ma'at Machpelah. And I thought a little bit one year when we had the big tent outside here in the field in the Machpelah cave. I said, what does every grandparent ask the kid, the grandchild, when they come to visit? First question is, are you eating well and taking care of yourself?
Right.
So here we want to make sure that the children are eating well and that all the young men and women coming are really being taken care of both spiritually and even physically.
Yes, you do a very good job at that. People don't have to worry. There's an amazing amount to eat and plenty of great spiritual food as well. Try to put Hayesar in your calendar, folks, along with all the other important events for Hebron. It's one of the key events of the year. And anybody who comes on Sukkot to the big celebration on Monday, they will see you here, right?
So God willing, on Sukkot, we're going to be running numerous tours.
Right.
And we're going to also have a special VIP tour for those who have been to Hebron many times and seen the standard communities and places, to really go to sometimes the off-beaten track parts of Hebron, and sometimes the secrets of Hebron, and to be able to have a little bit of unique experience. So Sukkot will be a free concert here, a special concert to rejoice, and with Ushpizin, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and we'll be here, and inviting everyone to come and spend Chol HaMoed here in Hebron. We'll have tours not only on Monday when the entire Ma'at Machpelah is open, but also on Sunday there'll be a special day where the entire Mara will be open, including the room of Yitzchak and Rivka, including the room of Avner Ben Ner. And please God, Bezrat Hashem, will be able to rejoice from Hebron to Yerushalayim and to see the ultimate simcha. Az Yamal Eschok Binu.
Amen. So the Mara is completely open all of Chol HaMoed?
Sunday, Monday.
Just Sunday, Monday. And it's open Hayesar, as we know. And during Slichot or Aseret Tshuva, is it ever open?
Of course, during the Aseret Tshuva, again, the nation of Israel has the great awakening for davening, for prayer. And like I said, there's no greater place to reawaken the Zchut Avot. And we're going to have 2 days during Aseret Tshuva with us. The Ma'at Machpelah will be open one day, Rosh Hashanah, and of course, Yom Kippur.
Those 2, Yitzchak and everything else will be open to the community. It's a little complicated how the whole thing works. We're not going to get into it, but let's just say that the Jewish community doesn't have full access to the entire Ma'ara yet every single day of the year, but Bezrat Hashem, we will very soon. Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Nachum, again, for everything, and always being a dear friend of Hebron through thick and thin.
We're always getting your regards. Every tour, we get your regards back to the United States, so thank you very much. Reb Simcha Hachman, everybody, Director of Tourism in Hebron. Look him up. You can take the tour from the Plaza on Wednesday, the Leonardo Plaza Hotel on Wednesdays, and you can call for information at 052-431-7257. Again, keep that number handy. It's directly to Simcha, who can take care of your tour at 052-431-7257. Contact the Hebron Fund office as well. Hebron calendar is out for 5772. If you'd like a copy, send your regular United States Postal Service address while the Postal Service still exists. Send it to, you heard this thing that they may go under? Yeah, hold it over. Send it to info@hebronfund.org, info@hebronfund.org. Ari Lieberman, so far so good, I would say.
It's going wonderful.
Everything's going well, and a lot of good information out there. Oh, we should mention the dinner, because I don't want it to pass through the entire. I know it's December, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about it, but we want people to put it on their calendar now. So tell us about the plans for the 3rd of December.
The 3rd of December, Motzi Shabbos, December 3rd, we will be having our annual dinner, and everyone knows that this is a sought-out event. It's the pace setter for the annual dinners that people attend. We're going to have Teddy Pollack, our president, on the line shortly, who is going to talk a little bit about the dinner as well. We've got some wonderful honorees and some phenomenal guest speakers as well. I was hoping to have them confirmed by this morning so we can announce it, but it hasn't been.
Oh, you mentioned one of the guest speakers you're working on. If that works out, it's going to be an extremely big piece of news.
Correct, and we are hoping that will come to fruition. We should know soon.
So as soon as we have that lineup, you'll make sure to get that to us, and we will remind everybody, again, it's the 3rd of December, which means you want to circle Saturday night, December 3rd on your calendar, your brand new Hebron calendar, and you want to come out and enjoy the dinner. Go ahead.
It's going to be at this is the first year it's going to be at the Science Center in Queens, the New York City Science Center. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event. We'll have the entire facility to us. All the various displays will be open as well. So it's not just going to be your typical dinner, but you'll have some Saturday night fun as well. And we hope everyone will come out and really support Hebron and the wonderful work that the people here do, ensuring that it remains Jewish, and we are the gatekeepers of the Machpelah.
The dinner is always well attended. I mean, there's usually a really big crowd. I'd like to see again people from our community come on out and show support. So again, the 12th, the 3rd of December, 12/3, the 3rd of December is the Hebron dinner. Come on out and be part of it. JM and the AM, as we broadcast live from one of the most amazing sights you could ever imagine. The Israeli flags are flying on the poles right in front of Marat HaMachpelah. I am witnessing one of the most incredible sights. Plenty of people up and down the steps all through the day, heading to daven at Marat HaMachpelah. Soldiers, Israeli soldiers, who were frequenting this square just until a few minutes ago, who are visiting Marat HaMachpelah and getting their own tour of the holy city of Hebron today, so that they can have a greater appreciation as they guard this city and guard its buildings, what they're really guarding, the tradition and heritage of the Jewish people. It's one of the most fabulous days weather-wise we've ever had in Israel, and this is the way it is this time of year, thank God. Just absolutely beautiful blue skies, a light wind, as you can hear. I don't know if ZK would call it light, but we'll call it light. A light wind, beautiful climate, about 88 degrees, and one of the most gorgeous sights you've ever seen. And today I had an opportunity to walk through some of the residential areas of Hebron, including Beit HaShishan, Beit Hadassah, walking past the Avram Avinu neighborhood, and it's one of the most peaceful and incredible sights and experiences you'll ever have. Get to Hebron ASAP. Rabbi David Goldwasser is set. His words are Nishmat Sarav Zever and Yosef Alevi. Here is Rabbi David Goldwasser with Morning Chizuk.
Good morning.
Good morning during the month of Elul, and something misfired. You still have it up? And here we go.
I would have done it for you live.
We're live in Hebron. I'm not kidding. Monday morning broadcast of JM and the AM coming from right across the street from Marat HaMachpelah. I'm looking at the Tomb of the Patriarchs, Marat HaMachpelah in the center of Hebron. If you missed any of our conversations so far, as we're about halfway through our JM and the AM presentation for a Monday, you can catch a lot of it by heading to our Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal. You'll see pictures and comments about what's happened so far this morning. Ari Lieberman is our host here as Executive Director of the Hebron Fund, with plenty of reminders about what's happening over the next few weeks. Remember that if you're in Israel for Sukkot, you must make sure to be here Monday of Sukkot, and you are eligible to be part of the VIP tour Monday of Sukkot here in Hebron as well. Contact the Hebron office for information. We've spoken about Chayei Sarah, which is the Shabbos before Thanksgiving weekend, which could work out to be an amazing vacation for those who are coming to Israel for Chayei Sarah or for Thanksgiving weekend till this point. We've spoken about December the 3rd. Circle your calendar. It's a big Hebron Fund dinner, December the 3rd, happening at the Queens New York Museum, the Science Museum, New York Museum of Science in Queens, on Saturday night, the 3rd of December. The calendar is available to you. The Hebron calendar is one of the most sought-after calendars out there. Ari will tell you that he has gotten requests all through the summer asking, where is the calendar? And sure enough, it's available for 5772 simply by sending an email with your name and address to info@hebronfund.org, info@hebronfund.org. With me here outside of Marat HaMachpelah is Dr. Aaron Abraham. The segment, because we name all of these segments for preparation purposes, is from Mumbai to Hebron. Dr. Abraham, welcome to JM and the AM.
Thank you very much.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from India.
You're from India?
Yes.
And you lived in India till when?
Till I was almost 51. I'm now 53.
The first 50 years of your life, you're in India.
India,
and
yes.
you're a doctor in India.
Yes.
In a very prestigious position,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
What was the name of the hospital, please?
It's British Candy Hospital.
That's what it's called.
Yes.
And that's in Mumbai?
It's in Mumbai, and it's a very, very high-profile very prestigious hospital. All the bureaucrats and technocrats and the politicians are treated in that in their hospital.
And medical personnel from around the world would have heard of the hospital.
Absolutely.
So you're there in this professional capacity as director of the emergency
No,
department?
I was the senior in intensive care medicine.
Intensive care.
Intensive
medicine, okay. In the hospital, and life is continuing along at a regular pace. And then what happens?
And then all of a sudden, it was his will that he told me. He used to tell me that, "Don't worry, you'll be there one day." And he lifted me and my family,
Like on a magic carpet.
and brought us here.
And the he, of course, in reference to God.
God, Nachum.
God himself.
Absolutely.
He had told you that one day you're going to get to Israel.
Yes.
So why Hebron? How did that happen?
This is also, I think, decided by him. We never planned that we will come to Hebron first, and even it was fixed only for a month, something like.
That you'd be here for a month.
For a month you'll
Right.
be here, and then
Take a month, see what happens.
and then in a month, in that first month, the events went in such a way that we felt that we are so lucky that we are here, and we never left this place.
So let me just emphasize this to our audience, especially for those who might just be tuning in. Now is a time when a lot of folks tune in each morning. A little bit of a shift in our listenership. I am speaking to Dr. Aaron Abraham, who for the first 50 plus years of his life was in Mumbai, India. He became the director of the intensive care department at a prestigious hospital, well known to medical people around the world in Mumbai, India. And then one day, after having had these conversations with the one above, and I'm not minimizing it, I'm just trying to emphasize it. After having these conversations with one above about getting to Israel, one day it happens, and you're supposed to come for 30 days. And instead, you've never left. Is that accurate?
So I left to
Right.
pack up my
That
things
I
and come
understand.
and
But essentially, you've never left.
never left. And no intention to leave anytime.
Are you living now in Hebron?
Yes,
Where?
not exactly in Hebron.
Right.
We live in
Kiryat
Kiryat
Arba, right. And we know space is at a premium in Hebron.
I have requested all my brother David
Wilder.
Wilder, please put me on the list,
Right.
the waiting list.
Right.
Whenever
At least
there is
that.
wherever there is an opportunity, you tell me where and when to live in Hebron. I'll shift immediately. I will not give a second thought. That's my request to the whole authorities of Hebron. And I'm still trying to live here. Kiryat Arba is also okay. It is also considered Hebron. But living in near Malad Makpelah is something very, very special. Very special. That's the feeling what I have. And for the time I spend in Malad Makpelah and near Malad Makpelah is very, very, very special. You know, I try to explain these things to people.
Yeah, what do your colleagues in Mumbai say when you're telling them you got to live in Hebron?
Some people say, all right.
When you came to pack up, it was probably some interesting conversation, no?
Yes, but I mean, they said, all right, okay, you're leaving, but we'll miss you very badly because my reputation was very good as a very good physician. It's still there. They still remember me.
Are you practicing medicine here?
Baruch Hashem, I've got the license. I'm also working in intensive care in Israel.
Where was your first license from to practice medicine?
First license from
From India.
From India. And then second license I got just 6 months ago
Right here
to
in
work
Israel.
in Israel. And now I'm accepted in the intensive care community as well.
Was that a difficult process?
To get the license wasn't a difficult process at all. It was just a little lengthy. The hospital where I worked is like a hospital, any good hospital in New York and London. It was created by Britishers.
Right.
So the whole protocol for everything.
They knew what they were doing. Were you in the hospital when the Mumbai terror victims were brought in?
I was not exactly in my hospital. I was away from the city, and the moment I came to know that Beth Chabad is attacked, I flew back.
And you
So-
knew that Beit Chabad?
Yes, very well.
You knew
It
very
was
well.
my part of my life. I used to spend almost every day few hours, alternate day few hours, and it was open house for me anytime.
So you could have been in there.
That's what. If I would have not been there, probably. If I've not not.
If you would have been in town, you might have been in the Chabad.
Exactly. My time to visit Rabbi
Right.
Gabi was something like after 8:30.
Gabriel Holtzberg, you referred to him.
Gabi Hosberg. He was my teacher. He was my, and also his support and his love also sent us here because he
He
recommended,
encouraged you to get to Israel.
encouragement, and also the recommendations that this family is taught by me, and these people are very well known to me, and they deserve a lot. So please.
Is the Chabad house in Mumbai rebuilt or not?
Yes, now they started. The last 6 months, they started rebuilding it. And but parallel to that, there is another in few
They
days.
have another facility.
Chabad's running, yes,
Unbelievable.
which is organized by a very good friend, Rabbi Gavi,
Right.
Rab Khanov.
From New York or from Israel?
No, he's from Israel. He's from Gadara. Yeah.
Unbelievable. We are speaking to Dr. Aaron Abraham, who spent the first 50 plus years of his life in Mumbai, an intensive care specialist at one of the most prestigious hospitals in the world, and insisted to his family and his friends that he must live, if not in Hebron, as close as possible to the holy city of Hebron. Are you still in touch with the Holtzberg family and their little boy who was the survivor of that attack?
Very much, very much.
You're still in touch with him?
I met him last Monday.
How old is he now?
He is 4.
And he knows you, recognizes you?
He knows me. I really don't believe he loves me so much. He spends a lot of time with me. We play together. He feeds me food with his own hand. And he is still teaching few things like his father used to teach me. Now he is teaching also. Sometimes I do a mistake in conversational Hebrew. And he corrects me. No, this is not this way, Dr. Abraham. This is like this.
So your story from the Hebron angle is very simple. This is the place to be.
Oh, this is... I never planned. And you know what my belief is? That if you don't plan and things are happening, they're happening because of him.
He does the plan.
He is planning for you.
He's a good planner.
He's a planner of the world.
He's a good life coach.
Like, absolutely. He created the whole world. My plan was very small for me, for him to tell, okay, this is your place and you have to live. And believe me, these people, the people here, they gave us so much love and care initially in that first month. The unforgettable things they did for us. Like, for instance, our money got over. We didn't have anything. We were walking on the footpath one Thursday in the evening. We didn't have anything to eat that evening. One van came, stopped beside us, and there's an organization called Chaste Avot. They stopped, and the rabbi knew me that this is a doctor from Bombay, and he gave us 3-4 watermelon, a lot of biscuits, a lot of cheese, and we ate for 7-8 days from that. So
there are people who care.
this is like miracle, something like.
Are you impressed by the Israeli medical system?
Very much. Very
Are you?
much, very
I mean, it
much.
generally is way up there, you would say.
It's very good care people receive here, and the mind, Israeli doctor's mind is also very fine, very good.
That's one of the keys, right?
Yes, and that the hands they have, they also very nice.
Great surgeon.
Fortunately, I'm fitting very well with them in this system.
That's
Very well. I've become a teacher of juniors now.
You're practically an Israeli.
Absolutely. I'm teaching them. I'm taking classes. I'm teaching them procedures, and my colleagues have taken me as their one of the absolutely a colleague. Not like they're not treating me like I'm outside.
Wow. What an honor to meet you. I am indebted to the folks here in Hebron for bringing you over. You have given me additional spirit of why I should be so connected to the Holy Land.
Thank you very much. As I also say, it's an honor to sit with you because I've heard your name not once, many times.
Thank you very much. I
And
appreciate it.
and I really praise you, and you are blessed, and you will be blessed. Why? Because from sitting here, you're telling all over the world, the whole world, that this is our place. Our history started, in fact, from here. And you are giving the information, and you are supporting the Hebron Fund. I ran out of money, and I lived 2-3 months from the money from Hebron Fund. I shouldn't forget to say these words. So you are really doing a wonderful job. And these people also would be blessed, especially the authorities of Hebron Fund, running all over Israel, America, Canada, to raise money to run this whole show. All about to them. And again, it's also honor to me that I'm part of your program.
Thank you so much. Dr. Aaron Abraham. We've met a lot of interesting personalities in Hebron over the years. He is one of them. Thank you very much. Kol hakavod and Shana Tova.
I wish everybody, I have also a small request to everybody, every Jew in the world, that please come down to Hebron and spend time as much as possible. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Toda rabba.
Toda.
Thank you so much. Ari Lieberman told me that my conversation with Dr. Abraham would be one for the books, and Ari Lieberman was 100% right. Wow, I appreciate you introducing him to us.
That was my pleasure.
I'm sure my audience appreciates it as well. President of the Hebron Fund is scheduled to call in. He's not with us yet, right? Okay, so as soon as we hear from the President of the Hebron Fund, we will pass him along to you here at JM in the AM. Ari, I wanted to just, again, give a reminder to everybody that there are many events coming up, including Sukkot and including Chayei Sarah, etc. Go ahead.
Correct. We've got coming up on Monday of Chol Hamoed Sukkot. We have well, first of all, we have the general Sukkot festival here, Chol Hamoed Festival here for everyone to come. We have a special, wonderful VIP club program for those donors that are at $1,000 or above. Annual donor to come to the VIP, which is a phenomenal program. We also have, after that, we have the Shabbos Chayei Sarah, which is an event that people have heard of, and if you haven't been here, you haven't experienced it. And we also have our dinner that will be coming up on this Motzei Shabbos, December 3rd.
A whole host of things for people to get involved with.
Correct. In addition to that, we've got all kinds of projects. We talked about a little bit earlier about Project Connection. We've got out there, we've got our calendar out, which is, again, a major source of funds for us. It's a wonderful, wonderful calendar, and I get calls all the time by people asking me why haven't they received their calendar, and sometimes it's because they forgot to tell us that they've moved. So if you have moved, the people who are in your old home are appreciating the calendar, and if you'd like to receive one, please send us your current information at info@hebronfund.org, and we'll be sure to get you out a calendar as well.
All right, Ari, help me welcome Teddy Pollack. I'm told that he's with us live via telephone. He's, of course, the president of the Hebron Fund. Teddy, are you there?
Yes, hi, good morning. How you guys doing out there?
Everything is great. We are literally, and I'm sure you can imagine this scene, we are literally across the street, just a few feet away from Marat HaMachpelah on this gorgeous day. It's about 88 degrees with a blue sky, people jogging, people walking, people heading to daven, people enjoying the incredible day here in Hebron. This is what it's like, you know it, and we are honored to be here.
I'm very jealous. I wish I could be there with you guys.
Yeah, we're believe me, it's amazing. So the Hebron Fund has many things going on, and I thought I would start with you by just getting an official invitation to our entire audience to the big dinner coming up December 3rd. I know it's a couple of months away, but this, as you know, is a very, very important event for the Hebron Fund community. Why not encourage our listeners to be part of it?
Yes, absolutely. It's one of the main fundraiser events for our organization, and it's a great night. We always have a great time. Nachum, you've hosted a few of them in the past, and we'd love to have you again over there. It's going to be in the Queens Science Center in Flushing Meadow Park, a beautiful, beautiful facility, ample parking, easy access, just a beautiful place. It's going to be a great night.
We're looking
We have a lot of fun. We have some great food and drinks. We have a lot of socializing. And we also have a very surprised, worldwide renowned speaker.
Yeah,
So that's going to be a little surprise for everybody.
I mentioned earlier, if this works out, it's going to be absolutely remarkable. Teddy, how many years, how long has it been since you first got involved in the Hebron Fund?
I've been involved with the Hebron Fund probably about 8, 9, 10 years now.
And there are a lot of people, as you know, in the New York, New Jersey area, and listeners even in areas outside of the tri-state area that have gotten involved over the years, have found it very fulfilling. This has remained, even with all the problems in the economic situation in America and all the different challenges that people have gone through over the last decade or so, it has remained one of the most popular causes out there. Do you get that feeling as you speak to people about Hebron events and about supporting the Hebron Fund? Do you get that feeling that we are still very strong when it comes to this holy city?
Absolutely. Nachum, as you know, and as everyone knows, Hebron is the second holiest city in Eretz Yisrael, Latzeinu HaKadosha. Hebron is number 2. Close number 1 being Yerushalayim, of course.
Yeah, we know.
And, we have a lot of support. We have a lot of support in the United States. We have a lot of support worldwide. Every community we come to, we always get a fantastic reception. Ari Lieberman is doing a great, great job. We're spreading the word, spreading the message. Hebron is here to stay. Klal Yisrael is here to stay. Am Yisrael is here to stay.
Teddy, you're doing a great job in your role, and we appreciate you joining us, and thank you for helping us bridge the gap. That's what we're doing here today, as you know. As we're being hosted by the Hebron Fund, we are bridging the gap between the holy city of Hebron and the Holy Land in general, with the diaspora, with our wonderful listeners back in all the different places. Big yasher koach to you. We thank you, and we will see you soon, because all the big celebrations are coming up, including the dinner on the 3rd of December.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.
Teddy Pollack, he's president of the Hebron Fund. He's president of the Hebron Fund, doing quite a job. Ari, that was me applauding for you, by the way.
Thank you.
He gave you a nice shout out there.
I do want to, well, Teddy, I don't know if he's still on the line, but I do want to give a tremendous shout out to the executive board of the Hebron Fund, who actually themselves sponsored this live show today. Shout out to all the board members for making this possible.
And I want to add something, and this is, I think, unique to this organization. There are people involved with the board who have been there for a long, long time. It's impossible to see anything.
That I'm noticing too. You have to keep playing with the angles.
Yeah, but even the angle doesn't help.
You might be able to increase your brightness.
No, right the top is. The only thing is that you're gonna be out here. You'll be out to hit a phone.
The setup, right? Everything is an audition for our channel, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, Remetzka was here?
Yesterday,
Okay,
yeah.
but the board is set up.
David
Everything's
told
an
me,
audition,
listen,
right?
he's coming in, hold me so I won't say something stupid.
Perfect. So the guy
By the way,
that's
this is
calling
me.
in.
I live here.
At
I mean, not here, in
7:45,
Yerushalayim.
his name is
It was
Teddy.
such a tragic Saturday
Teddy.
night. David's mother died, another
T-E-T-D.
father, another
T-E-D-D-Y,
woman's
yeah.
Now it's real. No more false alarm. This is the bus that brought the tour in today?
And
Okay.
now, when you put your hand up, then I don't see a face. That's all. On the web.
Try to get them all around the back.
Oh. It's damn good. No, I trust me. Hold on.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
War Without Bullets is an official thing.
Hello.
What?
Stream didn't switch. Okay, 1 second. One second. Don't panic. 1 second.
I could go on to remotely maybe.
Yeah, try that. Not live? We are, but it's on the internet. We're getting it wrong. I have Mike Adler's number. If you can't do it, tell me immediately. I'll call him.
It's on. It shows it's on.
PC guy! Tell Yigal it's showing us it's on.
It's showing on the thing that's on. Make sure it's showing Mike. Yigal probably has it backwards, you know, the time lapse, you know. Try listen on your.
I can't. Oh, he can, right. Paul! Come try to listen on your laptop right now. So admin log out.
It's probably backlogged, you know, and it's do you hear it on your Android?
Oh yeah, check my iPhone. Go to the app.
Oh, I need a passcode, huh?
Oh yeah, give it to me.
I think it's up.
The stream is on. Tell everyone to stop
I
panicking.
told her,
Come on.
this always happens to me when I do remotes. I always start calling because I don't know how to configure the computer right, you know?
Let me go off the screen so I can slow you down.
Stand by.
Five minutes after 6 a.m. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nachum Segal. Welcome to a Monday. Back to school, back to work we go. And for us, it's back to the holy city of Hebron. Yes, yes, yes. Here we are in the holy city. If you check out the Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal, you'll see the view that we have of Marat HaMachpelah. We are literally doing the show just a few feet away from the Marah, here in beautiful Hebron. The weather is absolutely gorgeous. You know our goal. Our goal is to bridge the gap between the Holy Land and the diaspora. We do it through radio. We have an amazing trip scheduled starting today in Hebron and Tuesday and Wednesday in Yerushalayim. We invite you to be along on this journey with us. We'll meet our friends from the Hebron Fund, who are, of course, our hosts in Hebron today, and plenty of guests coming up between now and 9 o'clock. Again, I recommend head to the update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal on Facebook for the latest photos, including the one that I just snapped moments ago of Marat HaMachpelah and the proximity that we are from Marat HaMachpelah, from the cave of Machpelah, from the resting place of our patriarchs and matriarchs. Check it out, and we'll try to post more pictures as we go through the show here at JM in the AM. Our Monday morning theme song, our special guests, and plenty more for the next 3 hours in the holy city of Hebron at JM in the AM.
Literally. Thanks for the great shout out you guys gave me on Thursday. About our conversation Wednesday, and we had this great lineup, and at that point I hadn't converted. I'm sitting in my sister's house. I'm like, oh no, I haven't, I don't get a chance to listen to this.
Well, it's I think it would be a good one.
I don't get to listen to it live. There they are. So I'm listening to it later on. I usually I'm driving and things. So I'm like, oh no. I mean, I knew I hadn't heard back from Aaron and Abraham yet. Only quality people here.
That was Segal going nuts, it was fine.
You could say
La Alter even in the middle of the
why not? The whole year probably. Shlomo would say the whole year. Okay, Zag events, Zag is
What did I say? What did I say? You have a big stick in here. It's fun.
All right, that's of course Mayor Sherman, our Monday morning theme song. We're here on a Monday in Hebron as we start our trip to the Holy Land. Want to update you on everything that's been going on. First of all, ZK is here with me. We had been discussing over the air for the last couple of weeks the idea of traveling on September 11th. We were the beneficiaries of traveling September 11th with zero traffic to the Holland Tunnel, with nobody in Lower Manhattan, and nobody in Newark Airport. It was really amazing. And an empty flight. How many seats did you have there, ZK? It was a pretty comfortable flight, huh? Which is a rarity. So the one benefit of traveling on September the 11th, which I guess nobody suspected. I will say that security was tighter than usual for a regular Sunday flight. That's for sure. You hear Kazan Adler in the background. He's serenading everybody in this month of Elul. And he's visiting here today, the holy city of Hebron. And then we thank goodness, arrived on time. We are guests here of the Hebron Fund. I want to thank our friends Menashe Sofer and his amazing staff. Our driver's name was Avishai. Every time we come here and we're under time constraints, like trying to get to our first show ASAP, Menashe Sofer makes sure to send his personnel to get us from the airport and take us directly to where we need to go, in this case Hebron. So I thank them, and I thank him, and I thank them at Menashe Sofer's airport service. A big thank you to them. And I remind you that if you have not yet liked our Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal, do it now, because we'll be updating everything through the trip through that update page, which also goes to Twitter. Our handle is Tall Jewish Radio, and you can see and hear what's going on as we update things here at JM in the AM. Almost a quarter after the hour, waking up on a Monday. And I'm not quite sure what the weather is in New York. Maybe PC guy who's with us will tell me what the temperature is in Jersey City. But I can tell you that here it is absolute perfection. My gosh, is this my type of day? I mean, temperatures must be in the mid-80s. It's not nearly as humid as we're used to back where we are in the New Jersey, New York area. The sun is shiny. The entire sky is completely blue, as you can see from the photo that I just placed on the Facebook update page. Hebron looks as wonderful as ever. We're dedicating today's show to the memory of Leah Bat Nachum. That's Leah Shirel, our good friend David Shirel's mother, who passed away over the weekend. I just saw David Shirel in Beit HaShisha, where I often stay for Kaye Sarah, just a few minutes ago. And I mentioned to him, I said, my gosh, it's the first time I've ever seen this area with parking spaces. And I've seen this area not completely crowded to the gills. And of course, they are expecting that type of crowd and that type of atmosphere again here in Hebron on Sukkot, and again here in Hebron on Shabbat Kaye Sarah. Ari Lieberman's going to discuss that with us, as will some of the amazing, other amazing folks from Hebron later on as well. There's a lot going on and plenty coming up that fills the city. It's funny, even with the relative calm here today, just in terms of activity, not bustling like it would be on a Shabbos Kaye Sarah, still there are tour buses galore, people coming into Davin. Someone just mentioned the yard site tonight, wanted to make sure to come to the Ma'ara before the yard site began. And just the number of people who come to Davin and to tour and to see Hebron and to be part of it on a regular, average day, so to speak, is amazing. And Simcha Hachbam will join us, and others who can attest to the fact that on a regular weekday there are plenty of people who want to visit the holy city of Hebron. There is a website that we are recommending. We're recommending it for a couple of reasons. First of all, some of you may not be aware, the best Hebron Fund website right now, the best way to access it is to go to HebronFund.org. Again, that's HebronFund.org. In addition, the folks at the Hebron Fund have announced that the calendar, the 5772 calendar, is prepared, is being mailed to folks on the Hebron mailing list. As many, there it is on our camera. Thank you, Ari. It has many great sponsors. It has, it's always an unbelievable calendar, and I'm sure that the Hebron office is getting requests every time the summer rolls around for when is the new calendar showing up. So I will remind you, you could actually email the Hebron Fund, info@hebronfund.org, and ask for a calendar. Just send them your snail mail address. They'll send that out to you. Again, that's info@hebronfund.org for the calendar. And there's one other thing that you should know. Those of you, and there are thousands in our audience, as we know, who have the annual habit, thank God, of coming here for Shabbat Chayei Sarah. What they're doing today is, in honor of our visit to Hebron, they're actually raffling off, they're actually giving away 2 spaces, not on the airplane, but 2 spaces in Hebron, which I can tell you are extremely valuable when it comes to Chayei Sarah. They're giving out 2 spaces in Hebron to a lucky winner. All you have to do is email tour@hebronfund.org, tour, T-O-U-R, at hebronfund.org. If you're planning on being in Israel during Chayei Sarah, you could win the 2-person slot of accommodations here in Hebron. Do that now if you're planning on being in Hebron for Chayei Sarah. Tour, T-O-U-R, at hebronfund.org. All right, let's go to some Hebron music before we introduce some of our guests here at JM in the AM. My thanks to Stan, who's in the studio, ZK and PC Guy. PC Guy has done a tremendous amount of advanced work, including traveling to Hebron in advance of today's show, and we thank him for that. And I will now start with a Hebron selection from Dedi, and remind everybody that you're listening to JM in the AM during one of our important missions to Israel. Important because we're hoping it helps bridge the gap between the Holy Land and the diaspora through our amazing radio show. Thanks for tuning in to 91.1 FM, 90.1 FM in the Catskills, and on the web, jmintheam.org.
Your ride's early to take you back to your joint.
I think you should use the wet screen.
Yeah, let's go.
Very much.
Yeah,
Put it over.
All right, great way to start. Hebron, that's Eddie, of course. We're going to be concentrating on our Hebron music when we do our music this morning here at JM and AM, because we are in Hebron, guests of the Hebron Fund. We are sitting right outside Marat HaMachpelah. Look at that. Unbelievable. David Wilder is actually taking a video from our studio, and what a studio it is. Look at this. We should have a studio like this back in New York. What a studio it is, right here across from Marat HaMachpelah. And it's one of the most amazing views ever. By the way, we've been informed that Jersey City is at 67 degrees. I have a feeling in Hebron it's a little warmer and a little bit better weather. And you wake up on a Monday morning and you hear that we're in Hebron, and we're going to be speaking to some of the heroes of Hebron and some of the folks that are working for the city of Hebron on a regular basis. You know that you have a high-quality presentation this morning here at JM in the AM. I just took a photo of our studio. It's on the Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal. I recommend that you check it out and like the page that's in your stream, or in your feed, I should say, in your news feed. And you'll be able to check out everything that we're posting all through the day and all through the trip. Well, Ari Lieberman is here. Ari Lieberman, I am proud to say enthusiastically, welcome JM and AM to the holy city of Hebron. He's the executive director of the Hebron Fund. He has plenty of reminders and a whole bunch of programs that are going on that will include folks from outside of Israel. Our listeners who are in the United States are invited to participate, and we'll go through all of them coming up. Ari Lieberman, good afternoon to you. Good morning to our listeners, and welcome to JM and the AM.
Good afternoon, Nachum.
What do you think of this? This is heavenly. The weather's perfect. Ideal climate conditions. Have you seen the view in back of you? Have you seen what's right in back of you?
Yeah, I would like to, but Nachum, you put me facing the wrong direction. So Nachum gets to see the beautiful view, and I get to look at David Wilder. He's got his chain of plans, so don't worry.
But I will tell you that Marat HaMachpelah is right behind you.
Oh,
it's an awesome sight. It's really incredible. And you know what's funny is when I am here, and I mean I've been to Hebron on days that are not Chayei Sarah, but more often it is when we are commemorating Chayei Sarah. This entire area is filled with people, so it's impossible to see the green grass, and it's certainly impossible to appreciate the view because you are just There's a mob of people from the moment that you light the candles until, Havdalah and beyond, which is, it's fantastic. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. But today I was up at Beit HaShisha, and I said to David Shirel, I never saw parking spaces here. I've only seen double parking and triple parking and people in flatbed trucks sleeping on Shabbat Sarah. I never saw this. There's so much room, and it's so beautiful, and a regular day. It's so wonderful here. So.
It is wonderful, and that dispels the rumor that Martha Mapel is only here for Shabbat Sarah. It's actually here the other 364 days a year as well. And so we invite everyone to come see it when it's, as well as come to Chai Sarah, but they should come all the time whenever they're in Eretz Yisrael. Come visit their Saba and Zafta, their Bubby and Zaidi, right here. They're here every day, willing to greet us in this beautiful, beautiful city.
When was the first time you were ever in Hebron? Are you one of those people who did it as a 2-year-old, or somebody who only later on in life had the opportunity to visit?
I didn't do it as a 2-year-old. I did it as a 13-year-old.
Nice.
I won't tell you what year it was. But I did it as a 13-year-old, and I actually remember vividly. I actually remember coming here, and I remember it was the first time I ever blew one of those long shofrot. One of those very big shofrot. I was here with my father, and I remember, but my father would not let me buy it because it was in the Arab shuk that was open at that time. But I remember that was a very vivid image in my youth, and I remember coming here ever since.
It's funny because you don't know how much that experience led to your attitude toward Hebron today. What do I mean? As I leave the Shirel home today, I'm walking back into our studio across from our Machpelah. And I'm saying to myself that I remember my 2 13-year-old boys being here just a few months ago and roaming the streets as if they'd been here forever. And I'm sure that experience, meaning their ability and their the possibility of just walking the streets as a teenager, as a young kid, is going to stay with them forever. And they'll look back on that, and they'll have a completely different attitude toward this city than many of their colleagues.
What's amazing about what you just said is the fact that they'll remember walking in the streets forever. We've been walking in the streets forever. We have had a presence here, and your sons, other people's grandsons, have been walking these very same streets since Abraham Avinu walked them some 3,000 plus years ago. And that will continue, and it's going to continue because of the people that are here, that are people who have dedicated their lives to living in Hebron and to ensuring the fact that the Jewish city of Hebron remains Jewish, and that we are the gatekeepers of the Marat Machpelah.
And this community is doing quite a job as gatekeepers, I can tell you that much. Do we have any, I'm sure that some of our other guests will explore this topic, but is there any hope for further expansion in terms of the number of residences, Jewish residences that there are in Hebron?
There is always hope.
Now is there a chance?
Now is there a chance? Well, the answer to that question is it's up to each and every one of us. We're the ones that control our destiny. And what I mean by that is the only way to ensure that is every Jewish soul, wherever you may be out there listening, and if you're not listening, those who are can pass it along, gets up and says, the Hebron is not negotiable. Marat Machpelah is ours. We must remain here. We have a place for families to live. It's not that we don't have a place for them. We have a list of families who want to live here. Unfortunately, the decisions whether or not we can allow people to come in are not in our hands.
So space is available, the people have the commitment, now we just need those two things to meet, so to speak.
And the way that'll happen is by every Jew
saying,
insisting that they allow our doors to be open and for new families to come in.
It's now the month of Elul. Next month is going to be yet another banner month here in the city of Hebron. What do we mean by that? Ari Lieberman will explain all that with me coming up if you keep it at JM in the AM. You know how it is. There are people, a lot of turnover in different organizations, etc. But there are certain people that have remained committed to this cause from the very beginning of their entry into the world of Jewish organizations. And we should note that.
And not only are they committed, they're passionate.
Right.
Just come to one of our board meetings, you'll see how passionate.
There you go. Hey, you'd rather have it that way, I'm sure. People who care, right? You don't want to be surrounded at a table with people who don't care.
Absolutely.
You want to be surrounded by people who care. Introduce our next guest for us, Ari, as we continue here at JM in the AM.
Our next guest, a very important member of the team here, is Nachum Livni. Nachum Livni is the executive director of the Jewish community of Hebron. He is my counterpart here in the Holy Land, and he is the one who makes it all happen. He's the ruler of the coop over here. So he's a very important fellow. He's got a very important message, and he told me before he was going to apologize for his English, but I told him he speaks a far better English than most people that I know, and so no need to apologize.
The last conversation I had with Menachem was not done electronically. I think we had it on Shabbat Chayei Sarah, so that was a nice, peaceful Shabbat conversation. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
First, I'm very happy to see Nachum here again.
Toda rabah.
I think that each year we expect Nachum here, not only us, only our fathers and mothers, Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka and Leah, they expect each Elul month, Nachum are going to come. Expecting.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
To be with us and to be with our fathers and with the mothers.
Thank you very much. It's amazing how the year begins with so much activity here in Hebron. We talk about Slichot, we talk about Sukkot, we talk about Chayei Sarah. Obviously, for the Americans, we get an opportunity to go to a dinner and support the cause. So there's a lot of activity this time of year. We come in Elul just as everything is starting to get off the ground, so to speak. And I'm sure you feel it as well. You feel a new energy every time the new year starts, right?
It's a big energy. Each Elul, it's the energy of Hebron is something very unique.
How long are you here?
I'm here in Hebron about 35 years.
Can you describe to our listeners what it was like 35 years ago?
First time when I came here, there were no Jews in Hebron. Nobody were buried. I came to the old Abraham Avinu destroyed place, and we began step after step to build, to renew the place, to bring Jews. And now we are here about 90 families, about 300 yeshiva talmidim. We have no place, no apartment, empty, and it's amazement to see how in these 30 years the Jewish community in Hebron are in a situation where many people want to come to live with us, but we don't have place. And today we are in a battle. It's not a battle with bullets. It's not a battle with bombs.
What is the battle?
The battle is about the rights of the Jewish community, of each Jew to be here. To be here.
That's the battle.
That's the battle, yes. That's the battle.
Continuing to tell the world that it's a Jewish right to be anywhere, but certainly to be here.
Yes.
That this is a Jewish homeland, and this is something that goes way back. This is not something that's a creation of the 19th or 20th century. It goes back to the very beginning of our existence.
It's a battle of propaganda against us. It's a battle of buildings that the Arabs built through around us with the support of the European Union, with hundreds of millions of euros and dollars. And it's a battle. It's a battle that we have to explain to all the world that here in Hebron, we have, it's the source of our rights to be here, to be in Israel.
Right.
If we have no right to be here, we have no right to be in Tel Aviv.
The problem is that people in Tel Aviv don't understand that.
I think that slowly they began to understand it.
That's one way things are different today than 35 years ago. If in fact there are people in Israel, in places like Tel Aviv, that are beginning to understand it.
You know, in the army we used to say that things that you can't understand through your mind, you are going to understand through your legs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that slowly the Israel nation began to understand in Tel Aviv, in Haifa, in Jerusalem, that Hebron is the point that if we are not going to be here, we are not to be in Israel at all.
Right. Menachem Livni is here. It's America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning Radio program, heard on listeners sponsored WFMU East Orange, WMFU Mount Hope, around the world on the web, jmnam.org. So now, what is the strategy? If there are no bullets in this war, and propaganda, hasbara, communication, whatever word you want to use, helps explain what the real battle is in 2011, what is the strategy? Is the strategy simply just getting out there and constantly hammering the message, or is there more to it than that?
First, the strategy is to live here, to be here, to live the day-to-day living with our children, with our... to live here, to be here.
And support those who are living here.
Support the people that live here, and also to be here. This is the first strategy. The second is to bring here many people, soldiers, pupils, tourists, to bring here, to meet the fathers,
Right.
to meet the mothers.
So the strategy's been implemented. Now it's a matter of just doing it more and more and more.
Last year, there visit us about 500,000 people.
In the last year.
Yeah, last year. It's
Half a million people.
Half million people. It's a lot of work. We invest a lot of efforts, a lot of money to bring people here. And each people that come here is amazing to see how we changed. He changed. He stand here, he looks to Marat HaMachpelah and he said, "Oh, I really don't know it. It's something new for me." He has a feeling through his guts that he met something very, very base of his living.
Right.
Of Israel living as a nation.
Which they never would have been aware of before. Only because they came here were they able to grasp the whole concept.
People used to go to Yad Vashem, to visit Yad Vashem, and we say to them, "Look, it's not Yad Vashem. You should come to here, to visit our roots, here our real roots. This is a place that each Jew in the world should be here. And I invite each people, all the world, to come to meet his grandfather, his fathers, his mothers, not to meet us, to meet himself."
Come visit your grandparents. Nachum, toda rabba, Shana Tova u'Metuka.
Shana Tova.
I hope it's a peaceful year. I hope it's a productive year, especially for Hebron. And I hope that you continue to march on with the message of this holy city.
Thank you for support us. And thank you. As I said at the beginning, we are happy to meet you. Each Elul here, and we expect next Elul that you will come with a big, what do you say?
Contingent, a group?
With a big group, with television.
Satellite dish?
Maybe.
Broadcast throughout the entire world. Toda rabba, thank you.
Thank you and Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, Yasher Koach. Menachem Livni is, of course, the executive director of the Jewish community of Hebron, one of our special guests here at JM in the AM. A day filled with amazing special guests. I want to thank all of them who have been... I said this. I said it last week. And Ari Lieberman's putting together a list of very special guests. And I told the truth, Mr. Lieberman.
Yes, you did. You had the pressure. The pressure was on, so I had to make sure that I kind of keep your words. I wanted to tell you, Nachum, I don't know if you realize this, but when you're broadcasting here, it's between 1 and 4 o'clock.
Correct, in the afternoon, right.
If you would
one of the benefits of doing it.
One of the benefits, there's no reason, you can broadcast every day from right here, and you wouldn't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to make it into the New Jersey, station, and you can, listen, we can set up the Nachum Segal show right here every morning.
I will tell you, you don't know how enticing it is, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It would be an amazing benefit not having to wake up that early, but I don't know if we could do it every day.
Well, you don't only have to do it from Elul. You can do it any other time as well.
Thank you very much. We have more people coming up, by the way. Yoni Bleichbard, who has been amazing for us, just like Ari, not just during the show, but before the show as well. He's going to join us. Yoni's here, and he'll join us. The mayor of Hebron is here, Avraham Ben Yosef. He's going to join us. A gentleman named Bruno Zerdun. Is that the right pronunciation?
That is correct.
He's going to join us live via telephone. And that'll be coming up. This is the mayor, in fact.
This is the mayor.
The mayor of Hebron is sitting in front of me.
Yes, he is.
I have had the pleasure. Aleichem Shalom, Mr. Mayor. We've had the pleasure of meeting before. Nice to see you. I have had the privilege over my career to meet with mayors of different cities. But could you imagine that I now have the privilege to sit next to the mayor of Hebron? Because I ask you, Mr. Mayor, just like when people ask me, would you rather be the host of JM in the AM or the host of ABC News? And I say I'd rather be the host of JM in the AM. I'm sure that if I were to ask you, would you rather be the mayor of New York City or the mayor of Hebron, I bet you would say mayor of Hebron.
You remind me of a story that Ben Gurion, one of the first years after the establishment of the state, went to the United States to visit with the president. And the president said to him, how many residents do you have? He said, 600,000. He said, wow, I have one block in Manhattan, I have 600,000. He said, yes, but I have 600,000 presidents.
That's the old
So
joke,
Baruch
right?
Hashem, we have a small community, but a strong community, a special community.
A vocal community.
A vocal community, and each and every single one of the residents here is a president.
No doubt about it. And Mayor Avraham Ben Yosef is here with us. He's the mayor of Hebron. It seems that each and every resident sets a precedent, not just is a president. So this is, as you allude to, this is a tough job. This is not exactly the easiest job to be the mayor of Hebron. And we've spoken about the growth of the city. We've spoken about how, housing expansion has been stifled, things like that. We've covered a lot of those topics this morning. But the day-to-day activities here must be something that you pay careful attention to. Tell us about day-to-day life here in Hebron.
If you'll allow me, before we talk about the day-to-day life, I think it's important to mention we're sitting here in the field of Machpelah, Sdei HaMachpelah.
Mamash.
Avraham Avinu.
Look at this. Abraham walked right where we're sitting.
Right here. Avraham Avinu didn't only buy Ma'arat HaMachpelah. The Torah says he bought Ma'arat HaMachpelah and Sdei HaMachpelah. Right. We're sitting here in Sdei HaMachpelah, and we have to know not to take that for granted. We have a letter in Ma'arat HaMachpelah. We have a sign with some words from Igrot HaRambam. Letter of the Rambam. The Rambam writes, he describes when he came from Tiberia to Yerushalayim, and then from Yerushalayim he came to Hebron, and the excitement of the Rambam coming to Hebron, where the Rambam writes, I had the zchut on this and this day of coming to Hebron, and I entered Ma'arat Machpelah, and I was able to pray at this holy site, and I took it upon myself, this is the Rambam's words, I took it upon myself to keep this day as a chag, as a holiday for the rest of my life, ba'ochel, b'levush. The Rambam felt this was a great opportunity, a great privilege, a great zchut.
And I will tell you, by the way, as an aside, that the Maimon family from Aleh Levona continue to observe it today.
That's interesting. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yossi Maimon, a friend of ours, he reassured me that they can. I forgot the date. For some reason, I think it's the 9th. I don't remember the date, but I know they continue the tradition until now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In any event, today, Baruch Hashem, we can come here at any time, every day, and sometimes we forget the great privilege. You don't feel that. You don't have that great feeling, but the truth
Moshe
is...
Rabbeinu was never here.
What?
Moshe Rabbeinu was never here. We
here, right?
have the privilege of being here.
What do Chazal say? B'kol yom yu beinecha kechadashim. Baruch Hashem, I've been here for over 30 years, and I try when I come to Hebron every day, when I drive past Ma'arat Machpelah, to feel that excitement each day, each and every single day.
Where are you from originally?
Well, you hear from the way I'm talking, from my English, you understand that I'm from the States.
No, that I know. Where?
From Brooklyn.
Are you a Brooklyn boy?
Sure.
I thought most of the Hebron troublemakers come from the Midwest. There are some from Brooklyn as well, huh?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, they come from all over.
So tell me about day-to-day activity here in Hebron, how this operates like any other regular city.
No, one second.
I'm sorry.
No, I got to say, we don't have troublemakers. We have trouble settlers. Okay? We're the ones that settle the trouble.
I understand.
David Welder's got a good smile on his face when they said that. Okay.
Very good. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, when I first came here, it was a lot more difficult. Today, Baruch Hashem, we have basic municipal services as in every other
Talk about taking things for granted, right?
As in every other normal city. It was just a few years ago that we finally had our own water line.
Right.
Until then, we had to rely on the Palestinians to have our water. The electric infrastructure is still together with the Palestinians. There's a lot of difficulties. It's not quite as easy as it seems, even though there's only about 100 families and the yeshiva students and the 500,000 Jews that Baruch Hashem come here a year and the army bases. Right. Nevertheless, it's a full-time job with a lot of difficulties, and we have to walk between the drops over here. We have the Palestinian Authority on one side with the municipality of Hebron, the Arab municipality of Hebron, and thank God we at least have what we have over here in Hebron, so to speak, downtown Hebron, where we are, right. The area of Ma'arat Machpelah. And we're moving forward. Every year we keep trying to see what we can do to move forward.
I assume the twain have to meet, right? I would assume at some point, right? There has to be some interaction, I would guess.
There is some interaction. It's part of the job.
Right.
It's not the most favorable part of the job,
right.
But it's part of the job. And it's l'shem shamayim, when we have to deal with them sometimes, and there's things that there are infrastructures that are still together with their infrastructures. It used to be a lot easier because in the last few years, it's become all political.
Right. Everything's political.
Right. So it's a lot more difficult. You know, I saw on the guest schedule, Ari wrote that he wanted me to speak about politics.
Right.
But the political situation over here in Hebron. But I think what I really like to talk about is the mega politics.
Okay.
You know, there's so many. I hear about Obama's roadmap, and we have Netanyahu's roadmap, and Barak's roadmap. Barak, the prime minister.
Lots of maps.
Barak, the minister of defense.
Right, not the president of the United States.
Not the president of the United States. We have all these various different roadmaps, and I'd say that we have 120 Chavrei Knesset. We probably have 120 roadmaps.
Probably even more.
But we shouldn't forget that in addition to all those roadmaps, there's also God's roadmap for the Middle East. And what's God's roadmap for the Middle East? God's roadmap for the Middle East is Ki lo yitosh Hashem amo v'nachlato lo ya'azov Ki v'char Hashem et Zion iva lemoshav lo. And I think about that a lot, because the truth is, it's a miracle that we survive here in Hebron. It's not easy. When we're talking about a city with about 100,000, at least 100,000 Arabs around us, and with all the difficulties, not just in Hebron, on the roads coming to Hebron, and yet we're here. And you asked Menachem about what do we do,
strategy.
Strategy.
Right.
And Menachem said, well, it's just living here. Yes, living here. Just to stay here, to survive here, to be here every day, to see the children that go out every morning to school with smiles on their faces, that come home, and to see the parents that go to work, come back, and people that, Baruch Hashem, sit and learn over here, and guests that come to Marat Machpelah, all those little day-to-day occurrences, that's what really keeps us going, and that's the true politics.
The key to maintaining a normal day in Hebron is making sure the normal day continues.
Exactly.
Simple as that. That's how normal life will continue, if the normal day continues day after day. And thank God, I'm telling you, it's unusual when the last few times I visited were, Chaye Sarah, and then I walk in front of Beit HaShisha and there's actually parking spaces there. And I said, wow, I should have brought the car. I can't believe it. It's a regular day here today, which is pretty remarkable and shouldn't be overlooked. We're outside Marat Machpelah speaking to the mayor of Hebron, Mayor Avraham Ben Yosef, who's originally from Brooklyn, New York, and now serves as mayor in Hebron. Did you start living in Hebron 35 years ago? In the city of Hebron, or just in Israel?
In those days, about 30 years ago, there was still a Merkaz Klitan absorption center in Kiryat Arba.
And that's where you were?
Believe it or not. And then today it doesn't exist anymore, right? But I came to the Merkaz Klitan in Kiryat Arba. Actually, the Shaliach of the Sochnut in New York, I'll never forget, I don't know who this guy is, I have to find him once, because it's in his zchut that I'm here. He told me there was no place in Yerushalayim. He said, I got a place you right outside Yerushalayim, 10 minutes from Yerushalayim. Yeah. Been here ever since.
And in those days, it probably was not as short a ride as it is now, even, right?
Exactly.
I would guess.
Baruch Hashem, I'm here ever since, and obviously that's where Hashem wanted me to be.
No question about it. I want to wish you a Shana Tova U'Metuka.
Shana Tova. And maybe I'll just add on one more thing, that all this infrastructure, all this publicity, all this work that we do in Hebron causes a very, very large financial burden. And I want to, first of all, I think we really appreciate the work of our president of the Hebron Fund and the members of the Hebron Fund and our donors all over the United States who are dedicated to Hebron year after year and give us the support to continue the holy work that we're doing over here. I want to wish all of them a Shana Tova.
Issha Kach, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you again soon. We have a great list of guests. If you missed anything, head to the web later today. You got to hear this show, folks, from the very get-go. You must hear the show from the beginning. Head to the web later on, about 10:30 or so. The archive will be up. JM in the AM on a September Monday from Hebron. Don't miss the details that came through on this radio program. Tomorrow we're live in Yerushalayim, as we are on Wednesday. And I want to take this opportunity to thank some of the folks that made this trip possible. A big, big shout out and thank you to Barry Lieben. It is rare that these trips take place without the incredible help and support of Barry Lieben, who's been an amazing supporter of ours at JM&M for so long. Thank you, Tel Travel and Barry Lieben, for your unbelievable assistance with this trip. A big thank you to the King Solomon Hotel, as recommended by our friend Mayor Weingarten, and as hosted by our friend General Manager Gabi. That's where our base will be over the next few days, the King Solomon Hotel in Yerushalayim. Tomorrow night we'll be in the Old City at the Marzipan Bakery doing a live lunch starting at 7 p.m. in Yerushalayim. If you have people who you know are in Yerushalayim, tell them to go to the Rova at 7 p.m. It'll be heard 12 noon Tuesday afternoon on the stream at jmnam.org. I want to thank Menashe Sofer and his incredible service from the airport to get us to Hebron on time after our flight earlier today. Check out the Facebook update page. We have a lot of photos. In fact, I just took one moments ago of ZK holding up our makeshift studio because of the wind to the roof of the studio. That'll be up in a second on the Facebook update page, Jewish Radio World with Nachum Segal. I want to thank the executive board of Hebron. I want to thank Teddy Pollack, who called in earlier. I want to thank Ari Lieberman, who is here. Ari, uniquely, I like how they did. I don't think they do this every year. The invitation for the VIP Sukkot. There's a Sukkot celebration on Monday. Everyone should come, and I know a lot of our listeners are going to be here in Yerushalayim and in Hebron for Sukkot. Wonderful. There's a VIP Hebron Sukkot celebration the same day with a lot of interesting stuff being added onto the program for those donors who are part of the VIP Sukkot celebration. Their second annual Hebron Sukkot celebration. So take advantage of the invitation from our forefathers and foremothers. Monday Chol Hamoed, 718-677-6886, 718-677-6886. I remind you the Hebron calendar is available, info@hebronfund.org. info@hebronfund.org. We recommend you email your regular United States Postal Service address to the Hebron office and get the calendar. And if you want to come Chayei Sarah to Hebron, if you're going to be in Israel Chayei Sarah and you want to come to Chayei Sarah to Hebron, 2 spaces, 2 accommodations are being raffled off. Just let the Hebron Fund know now via email that you're in Israel for Chayei Sarah. Send it to tours@hebronfund.org. Tours, T-O-U-R-S, at hebronfund.org, and you'll be eligible to win 2 accommodations. 1 is a big deal, trust me, at the rate that they go for. 2 is amazing, and you'll have a chance to win those 2. Details to follow from the Hebron Fund. Ari Lieberman, so far so good. We have more guests coming up.
We do. It's been a great show, and always because of you, Nachum, we attract the talent. People come out and they want to see Nachum Segal, especially here. So it's always wonderful to have you really support the efforts of the people who live here and the work that we do. And you don't just do it once a year while we're here. So I want to give a shout out to Nachum Segal and thank you.
That's right. Now we're going to be reminding people about Chayei Sarah all the way until Chayei Sarah, when hopefully I'll be on the plane to Chayei Sarah. We'll see what happens this year, but we're not going to forget to remind people about that. And Sukkot's important because, thank God, so many of our listeners are traveling to Israel again for Sukkot. Thank God. So come Monday, that's the day to be here in the holy city of Hebron to enjoy the celebration. By the way, there are a lot of people out there who love Jewish music. You can guarantee great performers for that Monday.
Oh yeah, they will be here.
There'll be a great lineup.
We have a great lineup. And
wasn't Lipa here one year? I think Lipa was here one year.
Yeah.
Where wasn't he here one year? Which must have been really
last
exciting. And of course, we can go through the list of people who've been here every year. I mean,
Mordechai Ben David.
Mordechai Ben David was here a lot, of course. Chaim David was here, right?
Oh yeah.
David Wilder confirming that for me. So you have a lot of good potential.
I haven't sung yet.
What is it?
I haven't performed yet.
You have not yet performed? David Wilder has not been asked. I think that's a hint. He wants to get into the band. All right, we'll do this selection from MBD, from Mordechai Ben David, and more coming up from the holy city of Hebron. Yoni Bleichbard will join us. Everyone out there is always wondering about security in Hebron. He could brief us on that. And Ari says a very interesting individual is going to be calling into our phone line. His name is Bruno. We'll explain all that coming up at JM in the AM. JM in the AM. Bensy just stopped by. Now he and I have added 2 more photos to our collection of about 1,000 that people like to take of us because of our comparable height. Yoni Bleichbard is visiting us. He's Chief Security Officer in Hebron.
You need a special camera.
He's been with us the entire program and has a lot to say about how amazingly safe, thank God, this holy city is. Yoni, welcome back to JM in the AM. Shalom, shalom.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
I think the last time I saw you was in the States. Is that possible? I think so. Last time I was here for Chayei Sarah, I'm walking down the. What do we call this? Derech Havron? What is this called officially? Derech Havron? Derech Avot? What is this? Rehov Derech Avot?
Rehov David HaMelech.
Rehov David HaMelech, they call it. I'm walking down Rehov David HaMelech, and sure enough, someone hunks his horn. It's the only black part. Because he's always on duty. He's always making sure that things are safe and sound here in Hebron. Emphasis on the sound. Thank God, because of people like you, we have a very quiet and easygoing day here in Hebron. And that's one of the things that I like to emphasize whenever I'm here. That you're able to keep, thank God, a very quiet atmosphere for everybody.
I'll tell you something. When people ask me during this past year, how are you? I tell them two things. First of all, I'm scared. Secondly, very bored. Why? Because this past year has been the most boring year
for security in the last 15 years.
Baruch Hashem, and I'm scared because I might lose my job.
All right, we'll try to advocate for you. So that's good news. That is good news.
That is wonderful. Menachem told you before, over 500,000 people came last year, and that's because of the situation over here. It's been very quiet. The army, and let me take this opportunity to salute them. Yeah. The soldiers in the outposts who stand by 8 hours a day and even more, and in order to keep us all safe.
I don't want to, purposely, nobody wants me to, and I don't want to, talk about things that have happened in the history of Hebron. But I must say that it's difficult to come into this city and even drive where I just drove from Kiryat Arba, and walk from where I just walked from Beit HaShisha, and not think of all those who did give their life to make sure we could live here in peace. And if all those people, if all the people who gave their lives during all these decades would see today that their sacrifice led to a Jewish community living in peace, and a Jewish community living with the ability to have thousands and hundreds of thousands of guests come and daven and participate in what's happening in Hebron, it would be a small nechama for them. It would be
a gigantic nechama.
I hope a gigantic nechama for them. I hope so. I really hope so. It's such an important tribute to their memory. But what you're saying is so important to emphasize. It's been, thank God, a quiet year. You're very bored. The security forces are bored as well. The Army has an amazing presence here. They're very careful about how they handle things. We know on Sukkot, for instance, it's a glorious day. There's a lot of people to handle, but you're able to do it along with the Army and all the different security forces. They're able to keep our neighbors, to keep everybody quiet. Everyone should understand that certain days they have to be respectful of others, right? Everyone is learning these lessons, thank God. And in 2011, we could sit here and talk about how it's easy to spot kids of all ages and teenagers and adults just having a normal day in Hebron. Noni Bleichbart is here, he's Director of Security in Hebron. Have you had to make any big advancements or any upgrades to what you do here, just technically, or is it essentially the same thing you've been doing over the last few years?
Essentially, that's what we've been doing during the years.
So you're walking the beat, you're keeping your eye on everything, you have people who are working with you, you're in coordination with the Army. It's what we remember.
24/7 coordination.
And 24/7.
Yeah. Listen, the threats aren't gone.
Understood.
Even in the United States, there are terrorist threats all over. But Baruch Hashem, everybody's on the watch, everybody's guarding, and Baruch Hashem, everything is very peaceful. I'd like to tell you a story.
Please.
I walked with my kids in Yerushalayim through Sha'ar Yafo to daven in the Kotel.
Yeah.
And I felt one of my kids holding my pants very firmly. I told them, Elad, what's going on? In Hebrew, of course. They don't speak a word in English. Elad, ma kore, what's going on? I said, Abba, there are Arabs over here. So now you can understand the situation.
Does he know where he lives?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, yeah, 100%. Everything is relative, and you know how it is. Anything can happen anywhere, and sure enough, everyone... And I'll tell you another thing, by the way. The media in the United States has taken the role of instilling fear in everybody. I hate to say what I'm about to say, but to a degree the terrorists have won. Because the media has saturated, especially with the 9/11 anniversary, has saturated us with this with this uncertainty of what could happen. And I think that to a degree, the Israeli media is the same way, right?
Absolutely. Listen, we say in Hebrew, if a newspaper gives a report of a dog that bites a person, that's not interesting. But if a person bites a dog, that's news.
Right.
So they've got to do it.
And that's what they're looking for, and that's how they sensationalize everything. Yoni Tadarabah, kol hakavod to you. We thank you for keeping us safe. We thank you for keeping us peaceful. And Yashikah for all of your efforts. And Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. I'd like to express my deepest and warmest ichulim. Greetings to all of our dear friends from New Jersey and from New York.
Many of whom you've met.
Yes. With a Shana Tova umetuka. Shana with happiness, and may God fulfill all of your needs.
Amen.
Shana Tova.
Tadarabah, thank you so much. Ari, go ahead.
Yoni, before you leave, I just wanted to let everyone know that the VIP Sukkot event that we've been talking about is really a brainstorm of Yoni's.
Oh, it's your project.
That is Yoni's project.
The community's project.
Okay.
And it is, but Yoni puts a lot of effort in. He's the one who makes sure it happens. He's the one who coordinates to make sure we have the unique tour, the unique aspects that you can't get any other time. Yoni, want to say a few words about the VIP Sukkot?
What should people know about that Monday?
That Be'ezrat Hashem, it'll double itself. Last year we had over 150, and we're expecting much more this year.
He's talking about thousands, folks, not 150 people.
Be'ezrat Hashem, Be'ezrat Hashem. We're creating a special program for the VIPs, special places in which we haven't been yet. And normal days will be opened during this tour. We've got recreational program for the kids also.
Very nice.
It's going to be a very full day, front row seats in the concert, refreshments. It's going to be a...
You have everything covered.
Hopefully, Be'ezrat Hashem.
Be'ezrat Hashem. Good luck with that. And I apologize for not mentioning it. I saw that he was in fact, the coordinator for the big VIP Sukkot here in Hebron. Yoni Tadarabah. With us live by a telephone is a gentleman named Bruno Zerdun. And I was told in my notes that we are supposed to discuss the Bruno Zerdun story. Mr. Zerdun, are you there? Are you with us via telephone?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, we can. Shalom, and thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Bruno.
Do you want to give us a briefing on the Zerdun story?
Bruno, let me give them a little bit of an introduction as to how I came to know the Bruno story. I became the executive director of the Hebron Fund in February.
Right.
And on my very first day in the office, Esther Shifra, one of the wonderful people who worked back in the New York office, brought me a sheet of paper and said, you live in Florida. Don't you know this gentleman by the name of Bruno Zerdun? I said, I live in Hollywood. He lives down south, past Miami, in the area of Coral Gables.
Right.
I said, no, I don't. And he says, well, this is a wonderful man who has given a commitment to Hebron for 36 months. And he doesn't show up on any of our tours. We don't know where he's come from. So can you find out? So I said, well, definitely. And as soon as I was returning to Florida, I was returning actually with Yoni, and I called up Bruno and I said, Bruno, I'm Ari Lieberman, the executive director. I'd like to come and meet you and talk to you as to hear your story. And he was telling me how apologetic he was that although he had given a commitment for a certain amount of time to the Hebron Fund, that he was sorry it couldn't have been more. And I said, Bruno, you've given a 36-month commitment. I said, a lot of marriages today don't last that long. I said, it's not their dollar amount, it's the fact that you are so committed. And when I met him, I thought I was a pretty passionate guy about Hebron. But he surpassed me, and he made me more passionate. So I've told his story many times, but I am so honored that we can have him here to hear the Bruno Zerdun story live, so that when the people who have heard me say it now know that it's true.
All right, folks, listen carefully. We're going to hear from Bruno himself. Mr. Zerdun, could you tell us the Bruno Zerdun story, please?
Yes, sure. I mean, I'm very honored to be on your radio.
Thank you.
The story is that actually I didn't know very well about Hebron. I used to live in France. That's why I hope everybody will understand my accent. And when you live in France, you're 4 hours away from Israel. So I have been in Israel plenty of times and never been to Hebron. Why? Because, I don't know, I mean, it was like when I wanted to go, like going to visit some like touristic area, some people would tell me, but why do you want to go there? Are you Orthodox or something? Or even some Israeli would tell me, why you want to go there? It's very dangerous, etc., etc. So I never actually got the opportunity to go to Hebron. And in 2009, 2 years ago, I was staying at a place of a friend of mine, and one morning he wake up and he tell me, Bruno, what do you want to do today? Do you want to go to the beach in Tel Aviv, or do you want to go to Hebron? And I said, you know what? I would love to go to the beach, but the way you ask me, I would feel too guilty to not go to Hebron. So let's go to Hebron. Number one, I want to say something that when we arrived in Kiryat Arba, it's like if it's Coral Gables. Because I hear about Hebron, you feel like you go to Gaza. It's so not true that I wanted to make this point. Then when I arrived, I knew it was the city where there is a tomb of our patriarch. But I have to say that when I arrived in the main place and I read a little bit of Hebrew, and I read this sign that states here in Abraham Avinu, you know, I had a feeling. First, I have to tell you that I started to cry. I'm not an easy crier, but I could not just help it. I could not stop it. And when I saw this sign, it's like if you are looking for your father or your grandfather or your grand-grandfather, and one day you find it. You find him. And by the way, I want to tell you that I have no problem with my origins. My parents are Sephardic Jews. I mean, I've been in a Jewish school when I was young, you know, so it's not like the guy a little bit lost looking for his roots. I had no problem with that. But when I was in front of this sign, it was big. It was a huge emotion. And then I visited the city, then I met some people, and then I understood what is Hebron. I understood that our ancestors are there, and it's a holy place. It's more than holy. It's something. I mean, I met a few of the people living there, which are, I think, like around 1,000 people, surrounded by so many Arabs and so many people which could represent danger, even if I didn't really feel in danger when I was there. And I realized that those people do the sacrifice to protect the grave and the tomb of our ancestors. And when I say they do the sacrifice, I'm not saying that they would prefer to live anywhere else. But I know that if they were not over there, maybe we would not be able to go and see the tomb of Sarah, of Abraham, of Jacob, and I had so much admiration for those people.
And Bruno, we should emphasize that this.
When I came back.
Bruno, we should emphasize this came from your initial visit, right? Already after the first time, you started getting these feelings.
Yes, no, it was my very first time.
Right.
It was in 2009, and by the way, I didn't have a chance to go back to Israel since then, so I didn't go back to Hebron. But I want to tell people to which we don't know exactly whether they should go or not. I mean, they definitely should go because it's not only beautiful people, it's a holy place, and to me, it's a unique experience.
Bruno Zerdun, he's had one experience.
When I came back,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you had one experience. People, I want to emphasize for people, you've only visited one time, and you have this amazing point of view, and you have the ability and the desire to convince others to be part of the Hebron experience, all because of one visit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because people You know, in France, because I'm from there, people, when they go to Israel, they're going to go to the Kotel, they're going to go to the Dead Sea, they're going to go maybe to Masada, and eventually they're going to go to Eilat. And then they did their little tour, and they feel good. But you will never do an Israel tour if you don't stop by Hebron. It's just impossible. So when I came back to Miami, I have to tell you that in 2009, my business got pretty hurt by the bad economy. So I had, unfortunately, to cut many, many donations that I was doing monthly. And I was, you always feel bad when you have to cut down a little bit the tzedakah, etc.
Yeah.
And my wife told me, but you are committing, we are committing, because when I did my little commitment, I received a very nice certificate. I was very proud, so I framed it. And my wife told me, but you told me that because of the economy, etc., we must cut down on tzedakah monthly donation. And I said yes, but trust me, giving to Hebron, and this is my feeling, has nothing to do with tzedakah. It's like, to me, feeding your kids. It's like taking care of your parents. It's like taking care of your grandparents. You don't feel you do something that you should not do. You do it. You do it because there is no other way to do. This is my point of view.
Bruno, Todaraba.
I'm sorry. We have our ancestors, yes?
I apologize because of the delay, because of the international call. Todaraba, thank you so much for joining us. Your message is a poignant one and one that's so important. Ari, I'm sure you want to thank Bruno as well.
Bruno, as always, you are just wonderful. You're an inspiration. I've heard your story many times, but every time you tell it to me, you re-inspire me. And I hope all of our listeners have been able to be inspired by the Bruno story. And if they can only be 1/10 of what you are, Bruno, in their passion and their support, we will be doing wonderfully here in Hebron. Thank you so much, Bruno, for getting up early and calling in to be part of the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much, Ari, for everything you do.
More coming up. This is JM and the AM live from the holy city of Hebron. Big break from Shlomo Kalman. 10 minutes before 9 o'clock, our final guest of the morning joining us is Shani Horowitz, who's been living in Hebron for the last 25 years. 29 years, excuse me. We've been trying all through the morning. One of the things we're emphasizing is talking about how normal life can be, even in the holy city of Hebron. And I guess you've seen, first of all, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
You're welcome.
I would guess you, where are you from originally?
From the Bronx.
From the Bronx? From Pelham Parkway. Or by Reuben?
Right.
Holy cow, wow. I was just reading Rabbi Eric Heffet's book. Rabbi Eric Heffet is a Bronx boy, let me know that. And he has a book from Washington Avenue to Rehov, Washington. And I was reading it. Pretty amazing what was going on in the Bronx until about the time you left, right?
Right.
Around that. Anyway, so I can only imagine how vastly different this community is compared to when you moved in. How would you describe what's been happening over the last 3 decades?
Well, thank God we've seen the community grow. Not as quickly as we'd like to see it grow because, unfortunately, all the eyes of the world are on us and they try to prevent us from growing.
Right.
The homes we live in are very different than how we lived when we first arrived here. I got married here in Marad HaMachpelah, where we're sitting now.
Wow. Where's your husband from?
My husband was from Kiryat Arba and was living in Hebron since the murder in Beit Hadassah, when he started Yeshivat Shavei Hebron in memory of the 6 boys who were murdered outside of Beit Hadassah.
May of 1980.
Right. His father is also from the Bronx.
Unbelievable.
And now he lives in Hebron also, his father and mother, thank God. And, well, when we first got married, we lived in the marketplace, along with all of the vendors. We had donkeys tied to our trailer, and that's how we'd wake up in the morning. When we had too many guests in the house, the floor would collapse, and then we'd have to reattach it.
Prop it up.
thank God now we're living in refurbished homes and living very comfortably. People here have nice homes and they invest in their homes and try to decorate them nicely. We have bus service, which is very nice, where we can get to Kiryat Arba as much as we want and to Jerusalem. Life here is comfortable.
Do people in the old country question your decision to raise your family in Hebron?
I think most people are very, very admiring of my decision to raise a family here in Hebron, because I think that families who were raised in America are living. I'm sorry to say this to the people who are living in America, but are living a little bit of a lie, because we're all the time praying for the redemption and praying for kibbutz kaliyot, and here God has given us the opportunity, opened up the gates. Jews can live here. Jews can live in Israel. I'm not telling everyone to live in Hebron. And what is the peak of the Jewish spirit then, to bring a family up here in Hebron, where Avraham Avinu brought up his family, where all of the avot, the fathers and the mothers, lived and started the Jewish people. We're just continuing in their footsteps.
Well, no question. I accept your rebuke, because I know you're 100% right. I would just think that some people from the old country would say, "What, are you crazy? Are you crazy? You know what life is like over there? You know, that type of thing."
Maybe people thought that years ago, but
Right.
when people come now, they are so enthralled by the spirit here, and it is just so inspiring to them that I think that they only feel maybe a bit of jealousy that they didn't make that decision to bring their family up here.
Do your kids know English?
Some of them do, and some of them don't.
And are they all in Hebron at the moment?
I have 10 children, 7 grandchildren, B'li Ayin Hara. I just had a grandchild who was born here in Admot Yishai, who didn't make it to the hospital, and his name is Yishai.
Fittingly enough.
Born in Admot Yishai. I have 4 married children, 2 of them living one in Hebron, one in Kiryat Arba, and I have one son who lives in Shechem, in Elam Moreh, and another son who is our representative in the other side of the Green Line in Givat, Washington.
Near Yavne.
Right.
Unbelievable. Wow, what a pleasure to meet you. Shadi Horowitz, who's in Hebron for almost 30 years, originally from the Bronx, and encouraging everybody to get here as soon as possible. Right?
That's right. And we really feel that we, being here in Hebron, are messengers of the Jewish people. Every Shabbat, we try to have many American girls and American boys and show them the light of making Aliyah and planning their future here in Israel.
Right. There's a lot to be impressed with the new generation. I mean, there are, not mine, I'm talking about the one after mine. There are a lot of American youth who are really making a tremendous dedication, or establishing a tremendous dedication to the Israeli army, to the potentially to Aliyah, to spending more time in their youth in Israel, even if they're not being in Oled immediately. I mean, I'm sure you realize that.
Yes. It's very beautiful to see that in almost every Jewish youth's plan of his high school career or his college career, he sets aside at least a year to come to Israel, and that year to me is a good starting point.
No question about it. Toda rabah and Shana Tova.
Shana Tova to you.
Thank you so much. Shani Horowitz. Another worthwhile conversation. If you missed any of it, head to the web later on. Our archives will have it for you here at the jmnam.org. Ari Lieberman is with me in the final minutes. We want to remind everybody about some of the things that are happening. Don't forget that if you're in Israel for Sukkot, come Monday to Hebron.
We've got the VIP Sukkot. We've got the regular event here that's open for everybody.
Might attract 300,000 people this year.
By all means.
You know,
listen, you've been here for Chayesara. You know the miracles of Hebron. No matter how many people come, they all fit. There's always room. The numbers are very, very impressive. We invite everybody. And again, I don't want people to think that they only should be here for Sukkot or for Chayesara. But please, anytime they come to Israel, again, I think the message that everyone hopefully heard today was that Hebron is alive. It's a place that we should all feel comfortable to visit. And again, the way to really be inspired. If you really want to be inspired, come here and visit Hebron. For those people who are concerned or have hesitated or put off coming here, I hope the words that we've heard today are enough to make you feel a little bit more comfortable about coming and being inspired.
If we only accomplish that, then we did a good job today. I want people to realize that they should be comfortable in coming to Hebron.
And that's what's going to make the difference. Is we need, like I said in the opening moments of the show, that we need everybody to stand up and really come visit and say, listen, Hebron is ours, the Maratha is ours, and it's not negotiable. We've got to keep it in the Jewish hands now and forever.
Mark your calendar for December 3rd for the Hebron Fund dinner. Chayei Sarah works out perfectly if you want to come for Shabbat and then stay for Thanksgiving weekend. Worked out really well for those who tend to stay a lot longer than we do here in Israel.
Good turkeys in Israel.
So, where is it?
Good turkeys in Israel.
Oh, good. You mean for Thanksgiving dinner? David Wilder says there is good turkey in Israel. And
he's inviting everyone to his home for
Thanksgiving. And then keep in mind that the Hebron Fund has a beautiful calendar for 5772 Tafshin Bet, which is available. All you got to do is email, and they'll send it out to you. Send them your regular mail address, info at hebron.org, hebronfund.org, info at hebronfund.org. If you want to get in on that contest where the Hebron Fund is setting aside 2 spaces for those who are in Israel for Chayei Sarah, they'll set aside 2 spaces to be raffled off. If you want to get in on that, send it to tours, your name and address to tours at hebronfund.org, tours at hebronfund.org. That's for 2 spaces, Chayei Sarah here in Hebron. Achenu B'Yisrael and Achim Lachem, our brothers and sisters in Israel, we are with you. It's your favorite America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning Radio program. Our listeners sponsored WFMU East Orange, WMFU Mount Hope, around the world on the web, jmn.org. Big thanks to ZK for being here in our makeshift studio outside Maran Machpelah. Big thanks to PC Guy who set up everything in advance here for us. PC Guy at circuit.com. Where's the address? Anybody out there who needs computer service done long distance, it's Paul at thepcguy.co.il. Paul at thepcguy.co.il. My thanks to Stan back in our studio. My thanks to Mayor Weingarten for all of his help planning the trip. My thanks to Barry Lieben and Cell Travel for all of their help. To Menashe Sofer and his service getting us to Hebron on time. And to the King Solomon Hotel acting as our base for this trip. Facebook update page, Jewish Radio Hour with Nachum Segal and Ari Lieberman. I thank you for being our host here today.
Thank you, Nachum, for you coming down and bringing your crew.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our show from Hebron. Tomorrow from Yerushalayim, from the Israel Land Fund headquarters. Make sure to join us from the Rova tomorrow afternoon for the live lunch. We'll explain all that tomorrow morning if you're listening to JM and the AM. Till tomorrow, Nachum Segal reminding you, remember the past, live the present, and trust the future.